Check, check, 1, 2, radio check. Over still. On the bound through the corner, lane up through the triangle. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit. Out of the gas, slow down. He's got it right in front of me.
Here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Coach line it's Kurt Sponsler will pick up stage ring. Mr. Garland and Garland leading the way, showing these drivers how to get it done as the Mexico.
Engines roar louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening as the always amazing Outcast Racing League ready to rumble, ready to go to battle here this evening from the beautiful Pocono Speedway. It is Pocono, baby, and these drivers are ready to rumble. They are ready to duke it out. It's qualifying right now underway. So qualifying underway, everyone trying to lay down their quick time, trying to put themselves into a great starting position here this evening, as each and every one of them will look to try and put themselves into the winner's circle here today. As qualifying coming to an end, that means we will get ready to rock and roll. We will get ready to battle here in this one. So our 100-lap feature event is about to get started. Drivers will get loaded in down on pit road, and we'll get ready to roll them out onto the speedway. We'll get ready to see who can try to put themselves into a good situation, a good starting spot, and obviously a good time here to try to win a race, gain some good points, try to put yourself into a position to maybe make our playoffs here this year. As each and every one of these drivers, they will get locked and loaded, they will get set here, as I do believe starting on the pole it will be the 9 ride of Mr. Tyler Humphrey. Humphrey is in a special paint scheme here this evening. Let's see if we get a good look at it. Doesn't look like we get a great look here. There we go. We do see the Isabel Impact Must Love Poodles number 9 ride as he gets ready to be set loose. He gets ready to go to battle. He's got a special paint scheme on here this evening after a co-worker of his unfortunately passed away recently. So shout out there to Tyler Humphrey doing something beautiful here for his family, as we'll get them all loaded up, ready to rumble here. Humphrey will lead us to the green flag. It is Chris Muse who will start in position number 2 here this evening. Back in third will be Dom Salvo, and Aaron Barnickel will start in position number 4. Starting in position number 5 in the 48 is the Must Love Poodles Camaro. That is Grant Humphrey to his outside, the 76. That is the Priority Tire ride of Caleb McKinney. Starting in position number 7 in the Mobile 1, number 15, that is Cameron Combs to his outside. In the Elite Sim Racing, the RT3 Designs ride, that is Al Reed, who will start there in position number 8. Starting back in 9th, that is the beautiful looking ride of Mr. That is the beautiful, beautiful looking ride right here of Edward Bel Air in that beautiful MMG machine. To his outside will be Casey Gross in the Peacemaker Gaming Quantum Motorsports number 77 ride with Wayne Garland there in the Dark Horse Motorsports ride starting in 11th. Adolfo Castillo will start there in position number 12 with the number 2 of Corey Crowell starting in 13th. Killing back to his outside in the Lawrence Technology University number 70 ride will start there in 14th. Starting in 15th will be the 81. That's the Poor Boy Motorsports number 81 of Mr. Anthony Garland. To his outside will be, I believe it's the 49 ride of Kurt Sponsler, the 02 at Lancaster. As you do see Sponsler back there. Ryan Haller in the field here this evening in the 20 ride. We do see Garland jumping out there. Here's the 22 of Nicholas Barton back out there on the racetrack. James Garland as well, ready to roll. Luke Wagner, Devin Black, Rob Tuwiscu, Gary Wright there in the 16 ride. Evan Stewart back in about the 25th position. Tony Noble will be starting back in the 26th position here towards the rear of the field as Johnny Thunders. Unfortunately for Johnny not out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately for this number 60 ride, he's got to start from down pit side as our 27th driver here this evening, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go to battle, ready to duke it out here in this one as Tyler Humphrey gets ready to set us loose here. I don't know really what the stages are. I don't think I've gotten that information on what the stages will be here today. That's going to be something we'll have to try to figure out, because I'm not 100% sure on what the stages will be here for this race. All right, here we go. We found the other schedule. We are at Pocono, so it looks like 25 and 25. So the completion of lap number 25, the completion of lap number 50 will be our stage breaks here this evening, as here we go. Ending all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here at the beautiful Pocono Raceway. As Tyler Humphrey gets that green flag quickly, jumps on the loud pedal. The 9 right leads us into corner number 1 here this evening, hoping that he can try to work himself a little farther out in front as he does clear the 99 rider. Chris Muse jumps up to that high side. He'll lead us down this beautiful straightaway. Here is the tricky triangle, man. It is a very, very fun racetrack, and the problem area for a lot of these drivers might be right here as there's contact. Look out! Aaron Barnacle gets into the 9 of Tyler Humphrey here on lap number 1. Down through that tunnel turn, and that is a very, very close call right there. Heck of a jump by Tyler Humphrey, able to hang on to it, able to keep that car rolling, keep it pointing in the right direction for Aaron Barnacle. He's out in front, but now jumps it into the fence as they're getting junked back behind him. Look out! Big one here on the front stretch. Big one is happening as all these drivers get tied together. You see the 15 of Cameron Combs right in the middle of it. The 37, oh, there's Wayne Garland. He's going to get a big piece of that as well after already getting tied up into it, but even more damage now for that 84 ride. Let's take a look back and see where this gets started, because this is 3-wide battle, and you see the 15 down low. Sure if Al Reed, no, it looks like Wayne Garland's going to get up into Casey Gross. That's going to shoot Wayne and Casey both down the racetrack. They end up clipping the 15 ride. Now you look at Adolfo Castillo, Wayne Garland, and Casey Gross all come down. Hard contact into that inside fence. And then you see all these drivers just trying to get checked up, just trying to keep themselves out of it. And they're just continuing to pile drive their way in through it as everyone just trying to stay away from it, trying to keep themselves out of trouble. Some of them locking it down, trying to keep themselves out of it. Unfortunately, turning themselves around, just trying to stay clean out there on the speedway. And, man, there's a ton of tore-up race cars here, man. A lot of drivers just got absolutely shredded down and out of corner number 4 here on our opening lap. So that's going to make things very, very interesting here. It's going to make things tough for a lot of these drivers that this early in the race, you got to play comeback now. You got to try to rebound and get yourself back into the battle as, yeah, there's contact even farther down as well. Looks like potentially more drivers farther down the line also getting tied up in it. You see the 2 of Corey Crowell turned around. I do believe Tyler Humphrey ends up getting turned here as well, as Humphrey's trying to keep himself out of this action. He's just behind it, actually. Just behind it. Able to avoid it here. Just gets out of the way of the 15 right. As he does, he comes down and into the 2 right of Corey Crowell. That's good. Crowell kind of bent out of shape. It spins the 9 right up and into the inside fence here. And for Corey Crowell, he ends up making hard contact into the outside fence. So we got half of our field right here all of a sudden just get absolutely tore apart here in this one, man. That is a lot of contact, a lot of tore up race cars, and unfortunately that's gonna make things very, very tough for these guys throughout the rest of this race. Look at pit road, man. It is a busy place. All these drivers down pit side trying to get repairs. See Barton, Humphrey, Gary Wright's down there, Wayne Garland, Grant Humphrey, Adolfo Castillo, Cameron Combs, Casey Gross, Devin Black, James Garland, Rob Tuwisk, who got tied up in it. He's down pit road. Half of our field right there all of a sudden end up in the wrong place at the wrong time, end up with some pretty major damage, and that is going to be a tough break for them here in this one. As Aaron Barnacle will get ready to see the green flag here. He was able to take that race lead. He was able to knock the 9 right of Tyler Humphrey up and out of the way down through the corner to the tunnel turn here, and now it's going to be very interesting to see how this one gets played out, because for Aaron Barnacle, he's also going to be trying to keep himself out in front, but with the craziness already underway here in this one, it's going to make things very, very fun for everyone to try to rebound, everyone to try to get back into the action. We still got a lot of laps left here, chat. This is only going to complete lap number 3, and we already see all these drivers having issues. Some of them got to get going here down pit road before going a lap down. Now, that's the big thing here, is that this track is so big, the yellow flags, they take so long that it really opens up the door for you to kind of build a pretty sizable lead. It allows you to kind of get down pit road, get a lot of work done without losing a lap, and that's a good good break for a lot of these guys, man, having so much time down pit road to really take care of any of these repairs and try to get themselves back into the action without having to use that quick repair up early in this race. But we do see at the 66 ride, they're getting side by side here. The 66, 76, they're ready to rock and roll. The lights are off, the official iRacing pace car, and that means we will get ready to go back to battle. We will get ready to duke it out here once again. So our first restart of the day is about to be upon us, and for all these drivers, they'll get ready to have a little bit of fun, try to see who can try to navigate their way up and into victory lane. As of right now, it's been a bit of a wild one, a bit of a crazy one, but nonetheless, it's going to be a lot of a fun one here. We're going to see some great racing out in the Speedway, man. Who do you guys want to see in victory lane, though? That's the big question. Who do you guys want to see get it done? Who do you guys want to see up here picking up the Pocono Raceway victory lane here in the RT3 Designs LLC 400 here this evening? Shout out there to our race sponsor and one of our season sponsors, RT3 Designs LLC, coming on board with us again here this year. Huge shout out there to them as we'll get all these drivers ready to rumble, ready to duke it out again as our first restart. Do we see more craziness? Do we see things get a little bit more cool, calm, and collected? Do these drivers just continue to battle as hard as possible and hope that they can avoid any more carnage? If you just got tied up in it, you're going to want to avoid it as much as possible, because if you had to use that quick repair or anything else, it could take you out of that race one more big hit like you may have just gotten. So for Aaron Barnacle, he sees that green flag. He quickly jumps out in front, clears that 76 of Caleb McKinney. So for McKinney, he'll try to hang on to position number 2. He's got the 19 of Dom Salvo. Salvo down low, looking to the inside of that 76 ride as it's tight, racing off of core number 2 for Chris Muse, as Muse and Killingbeck almost make a bit of contact right there. We did see Muse bouncing off that outside fence. Luckily enough, doesn't look like any major damage. He keeps it rolling as here comes Ryan Haller right into the mix here. Haller, Sponsler, oh baby, look out, there they go again. This time it is the number 8 Rhino Wagner who goes around. So Luke Wagner gonna go for a loop-de-loop here down through the toughest part of this racetrack, the part that makes it the tricky triangle here, the tunnel turn down the back straightaway, and it looks like maybe he gets a little help here, or maybe he gets this one started, gets in there a little too deep, washes up the racetrack, gets into Al Reed. Him and Reed try to get checked up, then 81 Ryan gets a little piece of him there, helps him kind of get loose, and finally that car goes around. And unfortunately for the Outcast Racing League Poor Boy Motorsports, the number 8 Rhino, Luke Wagner, not the way he wanted things to start here this evening, and unfortunately, fortunately enough, not too much major damage to that 8 ride. A lot of these other drivers were able to keep themselves out of it, able to keep themselves away from getting any major damage or getting tied up and tore up out there on the racetrack. So that was a great break for them right there, and that means we'll get them all ready to rumble here once again. We'll get ready to go back to battle. We'll see another restart, another opportunity for drivers to try and work themselves here towards the front of the field, as Aaron Barnacle will have to hit another restart. Have to see if he can get a little something else going, see if he can find a little extra oomph on that restart. Keep holding that 76 of Caleb McKinney and Dom Salvo and the rest of this field back there behind him, as we'll get ready to see what these guys are able to do here in this one, man. We'll get ready to see if we get some good green flag laps in here. Unfortunately for Pocono, Pocono is one of those racetracks that it is just such a big speedway. It is such a big racetrack. I do believe this is almost 2.5 miles, something like that. This is the info on this racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go track. Yeah, it is 2.5 miles, so it is a very, very big racetrack. It is virtually the length of it's virtually the length of Daytona or Talladega, and I do believe the pace car goes much slower than they do at those racetracks, so a caution lap around this speedway takes a whole lot of time, almost 2 minutes for every single caution lap that we do. So for a lot of these drivers, that can get very, very tedious. That can definitely make you lose focus and cause more and more caution flags out there on the speedways. We do see a bunch of drivers elect to come down pit side. Other drivers are going to elect to stay out out, trying to regain some of that track position, trying to put themselves back into a good spot here in this race. We do see Chris Muse, first one down and out of pit road. He'll line up in the 8th position with Anthony Garland, Evan Stewart right there with them. Haller's back in 11th with Al Reed, Dom Salvo, Kurt Sponsler, killing back Castillo, Gary Wright to Wisku, Nicholas Bart. We saw Edward Belair back down pit side. And now for all these other drivers that get tied up in that first caution flag of the day, it's more time down pit road. They get more opportunities to try to get these cars repaired, as you see Corey Crowell, Wayne Garland, Casey Gross, Lancaster. They're all spending extended time down pit side. Same with Devin Black, Luke Wagner's down there. They're trying to get all this damage repaired here this evening, trying to give themselves another good opportunity here on the day. And now we do see Johnny Thunders. He'll get the wave around there through that yellow flag. So for Johnny Thunders, after missing the start of this race, having to start from pit road here in the 60 ride, he is back on the lead lap. He is back into the battle here this evening, and he'll get ready to rumble once again from a little deeper in the field. But if he can try to rebound, put himself back into a good spot here in this race. As Aaron Barnickel, though, out in front, the AutoZone 66 ride will get ready for a restart here. And it's Caleb McKinney, and now Grant Humphrey will be right behind him. Tyler Humphrey back up there as well. We saw Tyler Humphrey actually get contact. He was our pole sitter, led us down into that tunnel turn the first time around in contact as the 66 of Barnickel got into his rear end, watched him up the racetrack. It allowed the 66 to take the race lead. It shoved Tyler Humphrey back into the mid-pack, and then he ended up getting tied up in that first caution flag just down and out of corner number 3 here at Pocono Speedway. And unfortunately for Humphrey, he's already had to get some good repairs done to that 9 ride, but here he is using the yellow flag and the pit cycles, everything else to try to work himself back into a good picture here in this one as he rolls in 4th. James Garland right there in 5th. Cameron Combs, he's back up there in that 6th position. The 32 of Tony Noble, he rolls there in 7th with Evan Stewart, Ryan Haller, and Al Reed rounding out our top 10 as we'll get them all ready to rumble, ready to go back to green flag races. We did see another set of drivers come back down pit road, as I do believe we saw Chris Muse, Dom Salvo, Anthony Garland, Luke Wagner. We'll come back down pit side here. We do see Casey Gross there, as well as few of them maybe wondering, fuel could get tight here. Maybe if they don't have to make another pit stop here to finish off this stage, if they feel a little bit more comfortable getting that extra little bit of fuel into their tank, give up that track position, hope to get it all back. If other drivers have to make green flag pit stops and they don't have to, then they could be into a very, very good spot out there on the speedway. So here we go. Now, and into corner number 3, as it is the tricky triangle. There is no 4th corner here. There is no corner 4. It is only 3 corners here, and all 3 corners built very differently, but also with such a great purpose, man. I do believe it is the formerly known New Jersey Raceway is corner number 1. Corner number 2 is supposed to be after, I want to say it's Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and corner 3 is built in comparison after the Milwaukee Mile. So all 3 corners kind of got their own little tracks that they're kind of built off of, kind of mirrored off of, and they all run so differently, and it makes this track so tricky because your car can be good in corner 1 and 2 but really bad in 3, or it can be really good in corner 1 and 3 but really bad in corner number 2. It's hard to find the perfect setup to really make sure your car is handling well in all 3 corners here at the tricky triangle, as Aaron Barnickel continues to lead the way. Another great restart for him as Caleb McKinney, Grant Humphrey, Tyler Humphrey all right there rolling back in for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Cameron Combs now into 5th once again, and Combs trying to look underneath that 9 ride, trying to find something here, as I know he's going to want to try to keep on moving forward, hoping to put himself into a position to try to capitalize, try to earn some stage points, as we will see the caution flag come out again, as it looks like Casey Gross going to go for another ride. So Casey Gross, Edward Belair go for a ride here, and unfortunately for both these drivers, that will bring out another caution flag here this evening. Let's take a look back and see what happens. As it looks like Belair was trying to get down pit road. He's got a black flag here, so he's going to do a pass-through penalty down pit side. And for Belair, as he's trying to hit pit road, just comes out of quarter 4, maybe a little too low, loses the handle of the car, goes around. You see Casey Gross just trying to avoid him right there, and as Casey goes around, ends up doing a pretty decent job avoiding most damage here, as it could have been a whole lot worse for him, but luckily enough, he's able to quickly dip, dodge, dive, and duck out of the way here to keep himself out of any more major contact and damage for Edward Belair going around. That will bring out another caution flag here early in this race. So cautions continue to breed cautions here as we are going to complete lap number 10 here in this race. So 10 laps completed. Still 90 laps left to go here. Still a lot of laps, a lot of time to try to work yourself forward, to try to put yourself into a good position here in this one. Is Rodney, what's good, Rodney? Mr. Stewart says, race day, he says, do you have a good, did I have a good birthday? I did have a good birthday, Rodney. I did have a good birthday, brother. It was pretty chill. It was mainly just, I worked throughout the day, and then nighttime, I kind of just, made dinner myself and just kind of sat around the house. Didn't really do anything special, but I mean, when you work for a living, and you start to stack the birthdays together, they're not all super important. So unfortunately, we didn't really do much. I think everyone else, had to work, and with being Thanksgiving, it really hurts my birthday for being able to get out and do stuff. So like a lot of the bars and pubs and anywhere else, like most restaurants and stuff, are closed down because it's Canadian Thanksgiving, and we didn't really get to do anything special, but it's fine. It is what it is. Just another day in my eyes, honestly. But Anna Marie says, let's go, number 37, cheered on James Garland here this evening, as James rolling back there in position number 6 right now on the speedway. But for right now, it's Aaron Barnicle who's out in front, and all Barnicle's really had to do is kind of lead us through the first couple corners here, trying to keep himself out of making a mistake on the restarts. As Ronnie says, you just getting old. Yeah, I know, I am getting old. I am getting old, man. I mean, the gray hair is right around the corner for me, that is for certain, brother. Whether or not it's stress or anything else, it's definitely getting there. As you did see, Gail McKinney does come down pit side here. So for the 76 ride, gives up that second position, heads down pit road, gives it up here. We'll get some fuel and everything else into this car. Now the only driver that really has not come down pit road, and all throughout this race, there's 2 of them right now, one of them being our race leader, Aaron Barnicle. Barnicle continues to lead the way, has not made a trip down pit side. And same with Tony Noble. Tony Noble in that number 32 ride, the Red Bull machine, he scored back in the 19th position. He has also yet to come down pit road here in this feature event. I do believe the 60 ride of Johnny Thunders as well, after getting some wave rounds, getting back on the lead lap. He is also yet to actually come down pit road here as well. As Casey down pit side looking to get more repairs. Same with Luke Wagner. For Edward Belair, unfortunately for Belair, he still has to do exactly what we saw down and out of corner number 4. He still has to make his way down pit side here. He still has to serve this black flag, which I'm sure is going to be a pass-through penalty. I don't know if it's going to be a pass-through with a hold, if he's going to have to hit his pit stall and stop there for a while as well. We'll have to wait and see how that gets played out for him, but nonetheless, we'll get ready to keep on battling. We'll get ready to keep duking it out here in this one. As Barnicle out in front, he'll look to try to keep Grant Humphrey, Tyler Humphreys, the Humphrey twins, back there behind him. Cameron Combs back in 4th, and now James Garland rounding out our top 5. Evan Stewart rolling there in 6th with Al Reed, Adolfo Castillo, Kurt Sponsler, and Ryan Huller, our top 10. As Ronnie says, Evan, you should have a good race. You run good on this track. Oof, that's good insider trading right there. there. So keep an eye out for Evan Stewart. Evan Stewart could potentially have a pretty good run here this evening. Maybe that's why he's here. Maybe that's why he's jumped into the action, knowing that he wants to try to jump up here and win this race and try to have a good run here on the afternoon, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here in this one. As it's been a little bit wild, it's been a little bit crazy, it's been tough sledding, trying to get things going here and trying to get these drivers kind of cool, calm, and collective and kind of just under control here to start these races. But nonetheless, we will get them all fired up and ready to rumble here in this one, as Aaron Barnacle will get ready to see that green flag fly here today. So that is going to make things very, very fun, very interesting to see how this is going to get played out, who's going to be able to put themselves into a position to hopefully have a good run, a solid run, and maybe put themselves into a winning position here this evening, as Barnacle, Humphrey, and Humphrey 1, 2, and 3 here on the speedways. They head down through the tunnel turn and they get ready to go back to battle. They get ready to duke it out. We'll see who's going to be able to put themselves into the best position here. Who's going to be able to get the jump? Who's going to be able to get the launch? So far, Barnacle's done a very, very good job on these restarts. As man, this is going to be fun. This could be a long day. If we keep seeing yellow flags like this, it could be a very, very long day here at the Speedway. But for right now, let's see if we can get things under control, get things kind of rolling, see if we can click some laps off here under the green flag conditions. Is down across the line. Seeing that green flag fly for Aaron Barnacle. 13 laps out of this race, and we still have 87 laps left to go. So still a lot of laps, still a lot of racing left here this evening, as Aaron Barnacle leads us back down into corner number 1 here this evening. It's a great launch, another great restart there out of the 66 ride, as Tyler Humphrey and Grant Humphrey will stay back there in second and third on the Speedway. Everyone else back there trying to work themselves forward, trying to work themselves into a better position, and we did see Edward Belair make his way down pit side here, and it does look like a hold, so it looks like the 25 going to be serving his penalty here in this one. So unfortunately for the 25 ride, serving that green flag pit stop hold, and that's going to put him into a very tough position. But as of right now, he is probably only going to be first car 1 lap down. You just got to hope that it's a hold that only keeps him a lap down here in this one, not going multiple laps down, and really hurting his chances here this evening. But if he only loses 1 lap, then things might not be that bad. As you do see one driver out of line right there, there's Dom Salvo. Looks like a little contact there for the 19 ride. He's able to get it collected though, keep it rolling, and keep on battling here, as he's now back in about the 24th position. Does have some pretty solid front end damage there on the 19 ride, but he keeps on battling. Is out in front. Aaron Barnacle, man, just laid down the quickest lap of this race, and for the 66 machine, he is looking very, very strong here this evening, looking very good, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens here between him and this 9 rider Tyler Humphrey. I'm sure Humphrey not going to be very happy. He got kind of ran into down in the tunnel turn on lap number 1, our initial green flag, and for our pollster Tyler Humphrey, he got shoved up the racetrack. Could have easily gotten shoved up and into that corner to fence. Luckily enough, he was able to catch it, hang on to it, but did lose a bunch of track position, and then down the front straightaway got tied up in that opening lap carnage. And it was some pretty good damage there, but he has rebounded nicely, and here he is working his way back up and into position number 2, seeing if he can track down this 66 run. Last time around, Tyler Humphrey actually laid down the quickest lap of this race, so for the 9 ride, he is now holding the quickest lap out there on the speedways. We did see a lot of drivers just shuffling around back here. The 70 ride of Killingbeck trying to keep himself out of trouble, trying to keep that car from finding an outside fence or anything else, as he'll look to continue battling here in this one, as and some great racing, some great battles here this evening. And for a lot of these drivers, it is far from over, as you see Caleb McKinney try to work his way, trying to navigate his spot back up towards the front of the field. Cameron Combs right there in 4th. Rodolfo Castillo, we saw him get turned around and nosed into the inside fence there, getting himself a ton of damage. in that first caution flag. Looked like he had to use that quick repair to get this thing fixed back up and back into the battle here this evening as up into the 5th position. We see Al Reed, Evan Stewart right there in 7th. Great run so far for James Garland as James continues to keep on battling here. Good run brewing for the 37 run. He's got Ryan Haller right there with him as Mr. Haller trying to keep himself in this fight. Corey Crowell able to bounce back as well. It's tight race in there off of core number 4. Look out, Caleb McKinney really trying to find everything he can, trying to navigate his way back towards the front. That was close contact between him and the 7 right at Devin Black down and out of corner number 3 right there. And my gosh, things got a little too close for comfort, I'm sure, for both of those drivers. As Aaron Barnicle out in front, though, he's starting to feel that pressure from the 9 ride. Do we see Tyler Humphrey pay him back here? Maybe give him a little shove himself. Maybe try to push the 66 ride down a little deeper into corner number 2. Or do we see him keep it clean and just try to keep knocking some laps off here in this one and try to keep himself out of any of the carnage or mayhem out there on the speedway? As Aaron Barnicle, Tyler Humphrey, Grant Humphrey, 1, 2, and 3 here on the speedway. Cameron Combs back and forth, and Castillo rounding out our top 5. Now they're all looking for some stage points here. Well, the big question mark is going to be, does Aaron Barnicle have enough fuel in the 66 ride to complete this 25 laps? As there is the completion of lap number 25 is the end of stage number 1 for these drivers. And for pretty much everybody else, they were down pit side somewhere around lap number 2, lap number 3. That could be the make or break area. Maybe they needed that extra couple gallons of fuel to be able to make it to the end of this stage. For Aaron Barnicle, he is probably the one only driver. Actually, no, there's 3 others that have yet to come down pit side as well. We didn't see Tony Noble down pit road yet. We didn't see Johnny Thunders down pit side, as well as our race leader Aaron Barnicle yet to come down pit road. And after 19 laps of racing action, now we have done probably about, I don't know, 6 to 8 laps of those under the yellow flag. So that really opens up the idea that maybe he's been able to save enough fuel. Maybe he's got enough left in the tank that he can work himself up here and put himself into a position to potentially still be able to pull off and win this stage without running out of fuel here in this one. Or if he's going to make that green flag pit stop, it could really hurt his chances here this evening. So they head down through that tunnel turn right there. You take a look back at some of the great racing, some of the tight racing here. As you see Corey Crowell and Caleb McKinney, they're right there battling, as Crowell just inside the top 10. Caleb McKinney just on the outside of the top 10 looking in. Devin Black and Kurt Sponsler there behind him. The RT3 Designs number 6 ride, Rob Tuisku rolls right there in that 14th position. He's got Chris Muse back here behind him. And then we see Wayne Garland, Chad Lancaster, Killingbeck, Dom Salvo, and Johnny Thunders rounding out our top 20 out there on the speedway. Let's see if we can jump on board with one of these drivers. See if we can jump on board with one of our front runners here. Some of these guys that are battling hard out there on the racetrack. Let's see if we can jump in here with this 76 ride of Caleb McKinney and see what he can see here from the cockpit. As here they go down and into the tunnel turn, making it down here through this corner. Your car can get very, very loose in a quick hurry. They call it the tunnel turn because that is where the infield entry is. It goes underneath the racetrack. It's a big tunnel down underneath of it, and with the tunnel being there, it really just seems to do something with the ground there. It really makes it kind of unstable a little bit, kind of gives it a bit of a bump, and it unloads the rear end in these race cars, and it can definitely make your car go around in a quick hurry. So we'll have to wait and see if that pace, if that ends up proving as a difficult spot out there on the speedway throughout this feature event. But for a lot of these drivers, they know that they are just trying to earn as many points as possible, trying to put themselves into a position, maybe try to earn some solid stage points here today. Is out in front, Aaron Barnicle. He continues to lead this race. Barnicle out in front. Tyler Humphrey and Grant Humphrey, twins, right there behind him as they continue to battle. They continue to keep on rolling here And for the Humphreys, they're sitting kind of pretty. For Cameron Combs, back up into that 4th position. Great rebound for him. Great rebound for Adolfo Castillo in the 31 right here in this first stage, all trying to earn some very, very good stage points through this evening. Al Reed, Evan Stewart, Corey Crowell there in 8th. Caleb McKinney now into 9th as Ryan Haller slides back into position number 10 out there on the racetrack. But there's a pretty good gap here between Crowell and our 7th place driver, Evan Stewart, about 2.5 seconds between these guys. So a big gap there, and for Evan Stewart, that's going to make him feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more comfortable knowing that here over the next 2.5 laps before the end in the completion of stage number 1, that he's got that pretty sizable lead between himself and the 2 fast cats back there behind him. But for Aaron Barnickel, he's just been a man on a mission here throughout this feature event, and for the Auto Zone 66 ride, it seems like he has been in the zone all evening long, and here he is rolling at the front of the field, just continue to click off these laps and inching closer and closer to the first stage win of the day. And if the 66 ride can get it done, what that would mean for a potential strategy going into stage number 2 here this evening, because obviously if you can make it 25 laps on the tank of fuel, I mean, now he did have a ton of yellow flag laps in there. Had a lot of yellow flag laps, had a lot of opportunities to try to save that bit of fuel, try to coast the car around the racetrack, not really bring it up to high RPM or anything else. And for the 66 ride, that may have saved enough fuel for him to be able to make it to the end of the stage. But not only do you got to make it to the end of the stage, you got to make it all the way back around this 2.5 mile racetrack and back down pit road to when you can pit here. You may even have to do that twice, so virtually 5 laps or so that you may, or 5 miles or so that you may have to try to have extra in your fuel cell after this stage comes to a close. It's Aaron Barnickel. Only 1 lap left to go here in this stage as they completed lap number 24. Tyler Humphrey and Grant Humphrey right there as well, not letting him run away with it as Cameron Combs there in 4th. Adolfo Castillo trying to hang on to 5th. Al Reed and Evan Stewart, they're tight together. The Stewart trying to jump up and steal another spot away from the 3 ride of Al Reed, as it looks like 37 was going to take a little bit of a peek down underneath of them. Looks like they will stay right there, though, in 6th and 7th. As Aaron Barnickel out in front. Nice and easy down and through corner number 3 here at the tricky triangle, and it looks like he can't make it any farther. Barnickel has to go down pit road, and that will give the stage win to Tyler Humphrey. Humphrey picks up the stage win. Grant Humphrey comes home in 2nd. Cameron Combs, Adolfo Castillo, and Al Reed will round out our top 5 here in this stage. Evan Stewart, Caleb McKinney, Corey Crowell, Ryan Haller, and James Garland are top 10 here in stage number 1 this evening, as we do see Aaron Barnickel down pit road here. He's coasting it down towards his pit stall as he's going to have to wheel it in there, have the crew go to work and try to get this thing fixed up and back out there on the speedway. We did see Anthony Garland also having to come down pit road, and Johnny Thunders also having to make that pit stop there. We knew fuel was going to be very, very tight for him, and now he's down pit side. And I do believe for the 32 ride at Tony Noble's also trying to keep himself not out of fuel, and that's our race leaders right there with them. If he has to come down pit side, if they get around him here, that will probably put him a lap down out there on the speedway. That's going to be a tough break right there for him, but he is going to be able to get down across the line. He'll finally finish off lap number 25 here, and for a lot of those drivers, they try to run the fuel out as long as possible. I guess they learn that there's only so far you can go before that fuel tank runs dry and puts you into a sticky situation out there on the speedways. Here comes our pace car back here on the racetrack. Now we should see everyone next time by head down pit road, make another pit stop, get fuel, get tires, get everything else that they desire, as we'll get ready to go back to battle and get ready to duke it out here once again this evening. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys are just tuning in, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. As Must Love Poodle says, Humphrey 1 and 2 in stage number 1 says, go get them, boys, go get them. Yep, it is the Humphrey boys 1 and 2 here in stage number number 1 this evening, man. Some great runs, some great racing there between them, and we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to duke it out here in just a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't go anywhere as we'll get ready to set these drivers back loose. We'll go back to green flag racing here in just a few more moments.
Engines roar louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.
Alrighty, as pit stops have concluded, and that means we will get ready to set them back loose. As things will cycle back around here for Aaron Barnacle coming down pit road there just before the end of this stage. And for the 66, he will be back out in front, but it does look like he is going to head back down pit side. So isn't Johnny Thunder. So both drivers will hit pit road, and they'll go to the back of the pack, which should give the race lead back over to Tyler Humphrey. Tyler Humphrey, Grant Humphrey, 1 and 2 there on the speedway. Al Reed, Cameron Combs bring up row number 2, and then we see Caleb McKinney back in 5th. Dolfo Castillo, Chris Muse, Devin Black, Chad Lancaster, and Evan Stewart round out our top 10 as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. We see James Garland there in 11th, Wayne Garland back in position number 12 with Kurt Sponsler, Mike Killingbeck, Nicholas Barton there in 15th, Gary Wright, Luke Wagner, and Corey Crowell rounding out our top 18 as Anthony Garland and Johnny Thunders our top 20. Aaron Barnacle, he's back in 21st, and then we do see Rob Tuwiscu in that 6th ride, sits in 22nd, and we see Ryan Haller, Casey Gross, Dom Salvo in the 19 ride, and Edward Belair in the 25. He's coming back down pit side as you see Tony Noble. I'm not sure what may have just happened to Tony Noble. I think he's still rolling out there. Yeah, he's still rolling out there. There's that 32 ride of Noble. He's still pacing back there. Unfortunately for Tony Noble, he is still a lap down here. That is a tough break there for that 32 ride. He'll be looking to hopefully get that wave around next time we get another caution flag, which who knows, it may be right now, it may be a little bit later, as Ronnie Stewart says, Evan, you missed opportunity on that pit stop. Unfortunately there. Potentially kind of leapfrog or maybe taking that extra little bit of fuel. I have to wait and see what Evan Stewart does here to try to navigate his way back up towards the front of the pack. As here we go, we'll get them all ready to rumble here, ready to go to battle, but the lights are still on the official iRacing pace car, so I do believe we're going to get at least one more additional lap. So one more additional lap, one more time around, one more opportunity for these drivers to maybe come down pit side, maybe get that extra little bit of fuel, get some extra tires. We do see Kurt Sponsler. He's going to head down pit road. Here comes Luke Wagner. Doesn't look like many other tankers here until Dom Salvo heads down pit side. So we have 3 drivers there taking that extra opportunity to come back down pit road, add extra fuel into their machines, and we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back into Green Flag Racing. So getting ready to duke it out once again, and for these drivers, things are going to get very, very interesting in a quick hurry here this evening on what they want to do and what they need to do to try to put themselves into what could be a winning situation here this evening, because, you know, we still got one more stage to go. Still probably a couple more green flag pit stops here, or potentially, with an abundance of caution flags, could see multiple restarts and multiple opportunities come down pit road during the yellow flag laps. So for all these drivers, it's kind of fly by the your seat here and just try to hopefully get the best you can out of it. So we'll have to wait and see if they get anything going, if they can get it going, as here we go. Oh no, looks like the lights are back on the official iRacing pace car, so it does look like we are going to get at least another lap here under yellow. Not sure why we're getting another lap under the yellow, but nonetheless, we will see that yellow come out, and it does look like, and yellow right there. I do believe Johnny Thunders may have lost connection here to the server. He's kind of disappeared out there on the racetrack, so I'm not too sure what's happened to Johnny Thunders out there on the speedway. Unfortunately, he's no longer out there, but nonetheless, we'll get them all ready to rumble. So the lights are back on the official iRacing pace car. Means we'll get another opportunity to navigate around the speedway, and we'll get them all ready to rumble, ready to duke it out here once again. Let's see if we can get a quick word in here from one of our sponsors here this evening. Here we go, getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. This is the next time by. They will complete lap number 31 here this evening. So we are about 31% of the way through this race. Still 69% left to go here this evening. Is down in through the Cutco restart zone. We finally get the green flag back out into the air as the 9 of Tyler Humphrey, the 48 of Grant Humphrey both get some pretty good launches right there. They're going to stay almost door to door down and into corner number 1, and it looks like Grant Humphrey is going to pull down and in front of the 9 right of Tyler Humphrey, and that moves Grant to the point here in stage number 2. So Grant Humphrey now out in front as you see the 15 all over the back bumper here of Tyler Humphrey. It's Cameron Coleman trying to keep on working his way forward as here comes Caleb McKinney and Adolfo Castillo right into the battle. Let's take a look back deeper in the field at Aaron Barnickel. Barnickel's going to be trying to work his way through the traffic, trying to work this number 66 up towards the front of the field here, as he's going to have to make up a lot of ground and try to rebound here after some unscheduled pit stops out there on the racetrack, as the 66 rolls back in that 19th position. He's got the 20 rider Ryan Haller right there to his outside, but it is Grant Humphrey out in front who's able to lead lap number 32 here this evening. So Grant Humphrey out in front, Tyler Humphrey there in second, Cameron Combs in third with Caleb McKinney and Adolfo Castillo our top five. Then we see a couple of these beautiful RT3 designs rise. You see the 3 right of Al Reed, the 99 of Chris Hughes. There's Devin Black back there in 8th. The Landon C NSB 02 right of Chadley Lancaster rolls there in that 9th position as James Garland rounds out our top 10. Evan Stewart, Nicholas Barton, Casey Gross, our top 13, as he does have Wayne right down to his inside. So Wayne Garland trying to battle there with him as Mike Killingback rounds out the top 15. The 49 of Kurt Sponsor, the 19 of Dom Salvo. You do see Ryan Haller able to hold on to the 18th position, keeping Aaron Barnacle back there in 19th as Rob Tuwiscu in 20th. Anthony Garland, Luke Wagner, Edward Belair, Corey Crowell, Gary Wright, and then Tony Noble bringing up the rear of the field here. Tony Noble, the first and only car right now, a lap down out there on the speedway for Johnny Thunders. Unfortunately, looks like he missed, lost his internet or something, or his PC crashed. Something happened there to the 60 run at Johnny Thunders, and unfortunately now he is about 3-4 laps down as we see a couple of drivers running into some issues. Everyone's trying to keep themselves going in the right direction, as that was Aaron Barnacle, who, not sure if he almost went around right here. Yeah, looks like it. Sends it in deep underneath the 49 right here. Just gets in there too far, too fast, and runs in over the 49 right. Great job of racing there and keeping with it for Kurt Sponsler, not going around and keeping himself still battling here in this one for Aaron Barnacle. We'll have to try to get rolling here again, trying to find some speed and trying to rebound even more here this evening as he sits back in the 25th position. But for Grant Humphrey, he continues to lead the way. We do see Cameron Combs able to get around Tyler Humphrey, and you'll see the 76 around Tyler Humphrey as well. So for Tyler, he falls back into 4th as Cameron Combs and Caleb McKinney both get around him. Now they're both looking to try to hunt down Grant Humphrey, as these drivers, they know that this is going to be a much shorter run to the end of stage number 2 here this evening. So with stage number 2 closing and just kind of lurking in the background right now for all of these drivers, it really brings into the big question mark. Are they worried about fuel? Are they worried about tires here on this run? Will it become an issue later in the run? Is right now they got about 15 laps left to go here in this one. So about 15 laps left to go for Grant Humphrey, Cameron Combs, Caleb McKinney, and all these other drivers to duke it out and find out who can find victory lane here this evening. As Grant does have a pretty sizable lead right now, about a 1.2 second gap between himself and Cameron Combs. Combs is trying to reel him in, is trying to close that gap. Unfortunately, right now, isn't really able to find much extra out there. Hasn't really made much ground over that 48 ride as McKinney, he's being hassled again by the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey. Humphrey trying to work his way back up into position number 3 here, trying to put himself back into the battle up towards the front of the pack, and Adolfo Castillo right there, rounding out our top 5 here on the speedway. Some great racing as look out back there, deeper in the field. That is the 20 ride. Ryan Haller turned around. Heavy damage here for the DeWalt 20 ride as Ryan Haller gets tied up in it. I do believe the other driver was Rob Tuwiscu in his RT3 Designs LLC number 6 ride, the Elite Sim Racing Machine. Sign up here on this one. Let's take a look and see what happens. As for Ryan Haller, he just headed down, and it looks like he ends up tagging the fence right there. So for Ryan Haller, he gets into the fence on corner exit right there. Big hit for him, washes back down into the fence, washes back up the racetrack, and unfortunately, kind of gets parked right into the lap of the 6 ride. Rob Tuwiscu. Tuwiscu ends up getting the worst end of that deal. Pretty heavy damage there for that RT3 Designs Advanced Technology Solutions number 6 machine, as he'll head down pit road. Look to get some major repairs done to that car and hope to get it rolling once again here into the racing action this evening, and hoping not to lose too many laps out there on the speedway. We did see Johnny Thunders load back in. He's back into the action, back out there onto the speedway. So for Johnny Thunders, welcome back to the battle here this evening. Welcome back to the fun as he rolls back in the 27th position. Unfortunately, he is multiple laps down now. It's going to be very, very tough for him to get back into this battle here this evening. As for Grant Humphrey, Grant out in front leads this race. He's been looking really, really good here this evening, and we'll have to wait and see if he can keep that Must Love Poodles ride. And in front is another caution flag, another opportunity for drivers to come down pit road. And I think if fuel is an issue for them, then these guys are definitely going to be heading down pit side. They'll definitely come down pit road, get fuel, get tires, get everything else that they desire, and then we'll get ready to have a bit of a shootout here to the end of stage number 2. It's a 48 run, having to wait for our pace car to catch up to him here. There's the pace car. He's able to get it back into gear, keep it rolling, and now we'll once again lead this pack and show them how to get it done here in this one, as we'll get down to the nitty-gritty here, almost the end of the stage. They should complete lap number 38 right here. Be 12 laps left to go here in the stage. By the time we go back to green flag racing, should probably be about 10, 11 laps left of green flag battling here in stage number 2, biting more caution flags to see who can get the second stage win and more bonus points into their pocket and more points into their season, trying to make a tough day become a pretty decent day. If you can earn some big stage points here throughout and get wrecked later on, or just already tied up in a few things, if you can play some strategy, you could put yourself in front, as we did see about our top 9 right now. I'll see you on the racetrack. We did see Al Reed come down pit road, Chris Muse down pit side, same with Dom Salvo, Casey Gross, Killing back down pit side, Corey Crowell, Anthony Garland, Lancaster's down there, Luke Wagner, Sponsler, Gary Wright, all down pit side for Rob Tuiscu. He's still parked down there. Unfortunately for Rob, I do believe he is now at least 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. So a tough break there for that RT3 Designs LLC number 6 machine here this evening. All right, so pit stops underway. Drivers able to come down pit road, add some fuel, maybe get some tires. They'll get ready to duke it out here once again. We'll have to wait and see if someone can make a late run charge here and try to steal the stage win away from Grant Humphrey here this evening. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go. We'll get ready to go right back to the action here in this one, as Randall Barton says, go Nick Barton, cheering on Nick here this evening, as Must Love Poodles says, woo, Grant with the jump right there. Great jump for Grant Humphrey, and Grant out in front leading this race. He doesn't want to give it up. He doesn't want to see anyone else find their way around him here. He wants to keep himself at the point here in this one, as we'll keep on watching these guys battle, duke it out, slice it and dice it, find issues, run into problems, just try to keep themselves alive out there on the speedway, as we'll get them all ready to roll here again in just a couple more moments. So don't go anywhere, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing in just a couple more moments.
Radio check 1 2, radio check. What's it doing? On the back through the corner, lane up through the triangle. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit.
here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs are wide. It's Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will pick up stage. Alrighty, here we go. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. As out in front, it is the number 48 of Grant Humphrey. Looks like Grant is going to elect to use the outside lane here for the restart. He gets a great launch as the twins get launched perfectly right there together. But this is an uh-oh moment for the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey. Maybe too good of a jump for the 9 ride. No, looks like NASCAR has called that one back. It looked like potentially they were going to call for a bit of a jump there for the 9 ride on that restart, but being in the outside lane, he never jumped it. You can pass on the outside on restarts, and luckily enough for the 9 ride, able to get a great launch. The car's on the inside, not the best launch. He's able to use that to his advantage right there and jump back up into position number 2. As Caleb McKinney able to get around the 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs falls back to 4th. We'll see if he can try to work his way back around that 76 ride as Devin Black finds his way up inside the top 5 now. Here on the speedways, Adolfo Castillo, Evan Stewart, Wayne Garland, James Garland, and Aaron Barnickel back up inside the top 10 here. Great break here for Aaron Barnickel after the tough strategy coming down pit side there in between, basically right before the end of our stage break. He was able to come back down pit road, though he knew he was going to the back of the pack with that mistake. He comes down pit road. He was down pit side on lap number 30, and here he is battling his way back up inside the top 10. So he's trying to pick his way back through him. He's trying to make that pass on the 37 ride of Mr. James Garland. Everyone else able to keep on battling, though, as out in front, Grant Humphrey trying to pick up stage win number 2 here this evening. We saw Tyler Humphrey win the first stage of the day. Can Grant Humphrey win the second stage here this evening as Caleb McKinney putting the pressure onto the back bumper of that 9 ride. And for Tyler Humphrey, he may try to do everything he can to keep that 76 back there behind him, knowing that they're still within striking distance of our race leader, Grant Humphrey. So if the Humphrey boys got to work together, as we did see last time around. Caleb McKinney able to lay down the quickest lap of this race, so he is now the quickest car out of everyone here this evening in that 76 machine. And for Caleb McKinney, that could be a big break here. That could be a bit of a revelations for him, knowing that he just laid down that quick of a lap time. That could give him that extra bit of confidence in wanting to put himself up here through the front of the field and trying to win another stage here on the season as he's working right down to the inside of the 9 ride. You see the 48s right there as well. It's some tight racing, and it looks like Caleb McKinney able to get it to stick there down and through corner number 3, and now a little drag race with this 9 ride back down into corner number 1. He's kind of got the preferred line down into corner number 1, so we'll have to wait and see as he does fall back into line in behind the 9 ride. So for Tyler Humphrey able to hang on to position number 2 out there on the racetrack. And for Caleb McKinney, you'll have to try to mount another challenge, see if he can try to make that pass somewhere else out there on the speedway. As Combs and Devin Black still are top 5. Adolfo Castillo there in 6 with Evan Stewart. Aaron Barnickel now looking his way into 8 here as he gets around Wayne Garland. Garland slides back into position number 9, but he's not done yet. He'll try to battle back to the inside of the 66 machine. Trying to battle here for that 8th position. Dom Salvo right there behind him. He's trying to navigate his way back up towards the point here in this one as well, trying to put himself back inside the top 10 and maybe gain a few extra spots here this evening. It's James Garland, Casey Gross, Chris Muse, Edward Belair back there in 14th, Chad Lancaster there in 15th. Al Reed all the way back in the 16th position now for Al Reed, Lancaster, Kurt Sponsler, lead for Dom Salvo. A lot of these drivers came back down pit road down to lap number 38 here this evening. As look out, we see one driver around. That's Wayne Garland, and the caution flag will fly. So the caution flag is back out here late in this stage, and that may do it for this stage. Right here, you're going to see contact Wayne Garland and Dom Salvo. Salvo trying to get around this Dark Horse Motorsports ride. Let's see if we can get another look at another angle at it here as the 19. Not sure if he just pushes up the racetrack right here. 84 right there as well. I mean, 84 just kind of coming off the wall ever so slightly. The 19 ride was down to the inside. Nonetheless, they get kind of hooked together. The 84 goes around and stopped there on the racing surface, and that's what brings out yet again another caution flag here on the evening. So another yellow, and that means another restart here. And now the big question is going to be on how is that going to line up? How is it going to stack up here for our stage? Will they give it early and give the stage a win to Grant Humphrey, or do we do a 1-2 lap shootout, see who's got enough, who can put themselves into a position to potentially still come off with it and win this stage? It's going to be interesting to see what the admin's call is. I know that was right around their question mark area, what they want to call an early stage or not. So it's up to their prerogative to either give us an early stage or to get a restart, run a couple laps, and then end the stage at the completion of lap number 50. So we'll have to see kind of how this one gets played out and who ends up in that best position and who puts themselves into a spot to potentially steal this stage win away from that 48 ride. And for a lot of these drivers, what does that mean for fuel? If this is the end of the stage, you know, obviously it's going to make our final run that much longer, going to make it that much tougher for guys to try to get back into the battle here this evening. So we'll have to see how NASCAR is going to call this one, how it's going to get figured out, and where drivers are going to go here, essentially as they come down and across the line and back towards pit road. Do they come down pit side? Do they stay out? Will fuel become that big of an issue if we do see it stay clean and green, that they're going to have to pit way earlier than a lot of these other drivers here this evening? As we did see Edward Belair, he's going to make his way down pit side. Same with Anthony Garland, Gary Wright, Luke Wagner, Wayne Garland coming down pit road here as well. So we'll see how this one kind of gets played out. I do believe Rob Tuwisku potentially in line here to get the lucky dog, and it does look like the 6th ride will get that free pass. So for Rob Tuwisku back into the battle here, back into contention, as he will get the wave around and back on the lead lap here this evening. For Mike Killingback and Tony Noble, they'll have to still try to find some more yellow flags or wave around, something to try to help them out and get them back into this feature event, as Grant Humphrey will get us locked and loaded, ready to rumble, ready to roll, ready to see who can try to pick up the win here today. Some great racing, some great action. These drivers continue to put on an absolutely amazing show for us here at Pocono Raceway, and we are far from done here this evening. Just about to roll into our halfway marker, just about halfway in, halfway to go here this evening, as hopefully the second half is a little bit quicker than the first half. Obviously a lot of caution flags, a lot of issues here, and it's made things very, very difficult for these drivers, as these caution laps, man, they chew up a lot of time. And with all that time being chewed up, we'll see if we can go to the other border here. So yeah, this is our 6th caution flag. So our 6th caution flag of the day. And for all these drivers, knowing how many laps have been chewed off the board, how many laps have already been kind of taken off of this race under yellow, it just adds so much extra time, almost 2 minutes to navigate this racetrack under the yellow flag conditions. So it just adds in, 6 minutes or better for every yellow that gets displayed out there on the racetrack. So 6 cautions, you add in, 6 minutes for all 6 cautions. What is that? 6 times 6 is what, 36? That's a lot of yellow flags, chat. That's a lot of yellow flag laps. It's a lot of minutes under yellow, and unfortunately for all these drivers, that adds in just a ton of time through their afternoon. A lot of time just under, the pace car speed, and just kind of trying to keep yourself focused, not losing that focus and putting yourself into a bad position. But we did see pretty much everybody stay out right there, so I do believe it is going to be a 2-lap shootout here to finish off this stage. So the stage is not completed. We will do a 2-lap run, and then we'll see the stage break here, as stage number 2 will be completed at the end of lap number 50. We are going to get virtually a green-white checkered and potentially a preview of what's to come here later in the night, later in this race. We could see some more green flag checkers here really become an issue, really bring into the question mark on, what's going to happen, how things going to play out, and who's going to be able to put themselves into a winning situation here late in this race. So the lights are off the official iRacing pace car down through the tunnel turn. We'll head back down into corner number 3 here in this one, and we'll see if we can get a good restart, see if we can get a good solid jump, a solid restart, open up the ability to try to get some more laps in here. But obviously with that caution flag going to come back out in 2 laps here, we'll get back under the yellow, and then we'll have to get restarted for our final stage here after a few more caution laps. But nonetheless, here we go. Down and out of corner number 3 is what? Turn 4. There is no turn 4 here at the tricky triangle as the pace car makes that hard left-hand turn down pit side into the Geico restart zone in a pretty great jump right there for Grant Humphrey once again. Grant gets another good restart, another great launch there in that number 48 ride. To see Tyler Humphrey and Caleb McKinney duking it out back here for position number 2. Caleb trying to get a big run on the outside. The 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey getting tight, washing up the racetrack. That's going to make things very, very tight down and out at corner number 2. Luckily enough, they're all able to hang on to it, but for Tyler Humphrey, he does lose a few positions right here as we do see Adolfo Castillo, Evan Stewart able to get around him. As unfortunately for the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey, may have hurt his chances for a solid run here in this stage, but it does give Grant Humphrey a little bit of a cool, calm, and collected moment here. He's got a couple car lengths between himself and Caleb McKinney, but right there through corner number 3, Caleb really closed the door, but for the 48 banner run on the exit here, able to keep that gap. Is down across the line. It'll be 1 lap left to go here in stage number 2. So stage number 2 about to come to a close next time by the start-finish line. Can Grant Humphrey hold off Caleb McKinney, Cameron Combs, Adolfo Castillo here this evening as they round out our top 4. Back there in 5th, his twin brother Tyler Humphrey sits in that 5th position with Evan Stewart. Aaron Barnicle there in position number 7 with Devin Black, Dom Salvo, and Chris Muse rounding out the top 10 out there on the speedway. You do see a couple drivers. Oh, look out. Oh, baby. Tight there for the number 66. Tight for that number 19 ride as well. Let's take a look back and see what happens if there was a little contact there between potentially Barnicle and the number 19 ride here as we see these guys battling. They're headed down into corner number 2, and it looks like for the 66 ride of Barnicle, he's just going to get in here, gets loose, locks things up. He washes up the racetrack right there. Good piece of driving for Aaron, for Dom Salvo to keep himself out of that, keep himself out of the carnage. But it is Grant Humphrey who's able to pick up stage win number 2 here this evening. So stage win goes to Grant Humphrey. Then we see Caleb McKinney, Cameron Combs, Adolfo Castillo, Tyler Humphrey, our top 5, Evan Stewart, Devin Black, Chris Muse, Al Reed, and Casey Gross rounding out our top 10 here. All earning stage points here this evening as the caution flag did come out. I do believe our race leader was about to cross the start-finish line or had just crossed the start-finish line here. It was very, very close to when that yellow flag came out, as I do believe there were some issues here for potentially Kurt Sponsler, Corey Crowell, a couple of these other drivers. No, it looks like, yeah, see, there we go. So that's kind of after the yellow flag's already kind of being displayed, and Luke Wagner and the 49 get tied together. They end up going around and getting some pretty good contact into each other, and we did see Corey Crowell also run into problems here as well. Take a look here. So Crowell heads down to the infield right here. Looks like he locks things down, stops the car, and he's going to tow it down pit side here. So for Corey Crowell, looks like he's just going to exit this race. So Crowell is done and gone out of this one. That's a tough break there for Corey. Obviously not happy with how this race has gone so far, or his performance, or what may else have happened. But for Corey Crowell, looks like he's going to exit this race. It's a great break for Johnny Thunders. At least one more position for him to potentially gain, as we did see believe Edward Belair, last car on the lead lap. Killingback was scored as a lap down, so Killingback may be in line here for the lucky dog, and the free pass back on the lead lap here this evening. We'll have to wait and see if he gets that lucky dog here in this one. But for Grant Humphrey, able to win that stage. So Tyler Humphrey, Grant Humphrey win stage 1 and win stage number 2 here this evening as the Humphrey brothers sweeping our stages. They're hoping to sweep tonight's race as they want to try to put these Must-Love Poodles rides up and into victory lane out there on the speedway. Gil McKinney, Aaron Combs, Adolfo Castillo, and the rest of our field, though, they all have different ideas and different ways they want to see this race get finished, and that's more likely with them being out in front. Now one of the Humphrey guys out there leading this race at the checkered flag, as now we will see everybody navigate their way down pit side. So here we go, making pit stops, and now it brings into the big question mark here, really how far these guys can travel. It seemed like if they get a lot of yellow flags, they can do quite a few laps, but if they don't get any yellows, then probably about 20 laps or so, maybe 22, 23 laps to a tank of fuel here around Pocono Speedway. So if that's the case, then for a lot of these drivers, you're probably going to want to come in and make a couple green flag pit stops here throughout this final run, unless if we see some more caution flags that really mix things up here this evening, as we did see the 81 of Anthony Garland during the last caution flag. Anthony had come down pit road, so did Edward Belair, so both of these drivers made pit stops, both came down pit side. They're going to stay out, and they will consume the race lead. So for both these drivers, they now find themselves into a very, very good position here at the front of the field. Going to have some clean air onto their nose for Chris Muse. He comes out of the pits in third. Al Reed back in fourth. Dom Salvo, they're in position number 5. For Evan Stewart back in 6th. Caleb McKinney in 7th. Rum Tuiscu, Tyler Humphrey, Grant Humphrey, and around to our top 10. So for our top 3-4 drivers here, not very good pit stops, and unfortunately that's kind of set them back here to start this final round of racing here. The final stage is upon us as you see Devin Black, Cameron Combs there in 12th, Luke Wagner, Casey Gross, and Chad Lancaster rounding out our top 15. Ryan Haller there in 16th with Aaron Barnickel, Adolfo Castillo, Nicholas Barton, Gary Wright, James Garland, Bert Sponsler, Tony Noble, Wayne Garland, Mike Killingback, Corey Crowell, and Johnny Thunders rounding out our field here. Now, I do believe that Corey Crowell still down and off of the racetrack. I'm not sure if he's going to rejoin us here tonight or not, but nonetheless, that is our 27-car field as everyone's going to get ready for maybe another slew of pit stops here. As it does look like Luke Wagner will come back down pit road here, so he'll give us some track position, trying to get some more repairs done to this number 8 ride as he'll get ready to rock and roll, ready to go back to green flag racing. As the lights are off, the official iRacing pace car. Next time by, we will go back to green flag racing here this evening as Must-Love Poodles clapping their hands and says, well done, Grant. Well done to Grant right there. Heck yeah, great run, great drive right there for Mr. Humphrey as he is able to come home with that second stage win of the day. Came home second in that first stage too, so pretty good stage points there for Grant Humphrey. Pretty solid stage points after the stage win, and a 5th place run there for Tyler Humphrey. So for the Humphrey twins, they get some pretty great points here in our first 2 stages of the day as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing as we're just over halfway to go here in this feature event. Get them all ready to rumble, ready to duke it out. Who's it gonna be? Who will be the lucky winner here this evening? And how much chaos may we see here in the second stage here, or the final stage of this race? No more yellow flags except for incident out there on the speedway. Now, we have seen quite a bit of incidences and a lot of tore up race cars out there on the speedway. Will it be more of the same? Will we see it get cleaned up and have a couple good long green flag runs? We're about to find out as the pace car is about to head back down pit side and forfeit the race lead back over to the 81 of Anthony Garland, as we are going to jump into our Peacemaker Gaming, crank it up, as Ronnie says, better pit Evan. Better pit there for him. As here we go into our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here at Pocono Raceway. Alrighty, the caution flag will come back out through again in this one. Yellow flag. So the caution flag going to come back out. Another issue, as I do believe it will be the 22 ride of Nicholas Barton right here. So it looks like Barton, sure if he gets some contact on corner entry, definitely looks like it. So here we go. Barton gonna get contact right here from the 37 of James Garland. Garland gets major contact into the back end of him, shoots this 22 down and into the infield grass here in quarter number 3. And as Barton's just trying to get this thing collected, trying to keep it rolling here, he washes back up onto the racing surface. And as he does, you're gonna see Wayne Garland squeeze underneath of him. There goes James Garland. Unfortunately for Kurt Sponsler, couldn't decide where to go, ends up getting right into the back end of the 22, and that just jacks him up, loses the rear end, goes around, and as he goes for a couple loop-de-loops right here, he is going to get a little contact, a little kiss there into the outside fence. Luckily enough, not any super major damage there for the 22, right? More rear end damage than front end damage. As he's going to try to get that thing repaired and ready to try to get back the green racing here in this one as we get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to get out here again this evening as another caution flag, another restart, another opportunity for drivers to try to get things kind of underway, try to get things kind of rolling here again this evening. Is obviously a lot of drivers that are going to be trying to play some strategy. We may see a couple come down pit road, maybe try to pick here a little off sequence, try to give themselves that extra advantage here on gasoline. If they can make it 22 laps here on a tank of fuel, if they were to pit here the next time around, that will definitely give them enough to get to the end on a one-stop pit here to finish off this race. If it's still too shy for other drivers and they've got to make a couple green flag pit stops, then definitely wouldn't hurt to maybe try to make that strategy call, give up some track position, put yourself into a spot that you can have that extra bit of fuel and make it to the end of this race with only doing one more green flag pit stop here today. As all these drivers, they'll get loaded up, they'll get ready to keep on rumbling and duking it out here in this race as we're ready to see who can keep it on as Chris Hughes out in front, Dom Salvo there in second, Caleb McKinney back in third with Anthony Garland and Al Reed, our top 5 out there on the racetrack as we'll get ready to set them back loose. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing as each and every one of these drivers, man, just been trying to keep themselves out of trouble, been trying to keep their cars going the right direction. It's been a little bit easier said than done here today at Pocono Speedway. It just seems like maybe these cars just lacking grip or a little bit treacherous, and then not a lot of patience out there. There's a lot of drivers making those simple little errors, and the more and more yellow flags we get, the more and more those errors start to arise as drivers start to maybe lose focus out there on the speedway. And the moment that you lose focus is the moment that you can run over top of somebody or make contact with a wall or even just lose the rear end yourself and go around, and all of a sudden you got 3 or 4 or 5 cars piled in there with you. So we'll have to wait and see kind of how this one gets played out, because it's going to be a long day here at the speedway, and for these drivers, they're going to have to try to keep themselves out of trouble. And okay, so it does say sim time. It's only 3:22. It must be just some cloud cover here at the racetrack. I thought for a moment there we were starting to see the sun go down. I was going to say, well, this may become a night race. There's no lights here, so drivers will just have to try their best to keep themselves kind of rolling in the right direction and hope they hit the checkered flag through. But man, this is going to be interesting as the sun's kind of down here. That's going to make the track even cooler. Should give these cars a little bit more grip with the cooler track temperatures. So maybe you just being a little over aggressive, knowing that the track temps are cooled down and that you can't kind of push a little harder here with these race cars here this evening. But it seems to be more cloud cover down through corner number 3 and 1, but down here in corner number 2 it's starting to get a little bit sunny again. So let's get started to build that track heat back up as here at Pocono Speedway, man, such a big racetrack. It could be raining here in corner number 2 and not rain anywhere else over the racetrack, or rain just down in corner number 1, or just sunshine in corner number 1 and be absolute cloud cover everywhere else, because the stretch is just so big. The 2.5 mile speedway, and it can really mix things up here, and that's why they call it the tricky triangle. It's almost like the Bermuda Triangle, honestly, and here tonight, that's what it's kind of raced a lot like, the Bermuda Triangle out there on the racetrack, as we do got them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing, ready to duke it out again here in this one, as we will jump back into it. We'll jump back into the action, and we'll go right back to our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. So again, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, the caution flag has come back out here in this one. Yellow flag, yellow flag, yellow flag. Again out there on the speedway. As Chris Muse continues to lead this race, it's Wayne Garland deeper in the pack, running into some issues again here in the Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So another caution flag, some more issues out there on the racetrack. Let's take a look back and see what happens here to the 84 right out there on the speedway. So some tight racing right here for Wayne Garland. He's kind of right in the middle of 2 wide, but he's got the 8 right in front of him. He tries to just move around the 8 right, and I don't think he realized that Cameron Combs was there, or maybe that Cameron would move out of the way here for him, but nonetheless, that's all it takes. So here we go, 84 over the back bumper, looks to shoot to the outside of the 8 right, and Cameron Combs already just sitting there, and 84 comes up over his nose right there, and the Dark Horse Racing ride goes for a loop-de-loop, ends up making some pretty solid contact down into that inside fence just before the tunnel turn there in corner 2, so that will bring the yellow flag back out. So another caution flag, some more chaos and mayhem out there on the speedway, and another opportunity for drivers to try to take some chances here, whether or not it's come down pit road now or wait a little bit while longer. What's the game plan? What's the strategy here? Do you make an early pit stop and hope that it puts you into a good position here later in this race, as potentially we see green flag pit stops, maybe we see more and more yellow flags that kind of eliminates the opportunity of green flag pit stops here this evening. We'll have to wait and see, because as of right now things have kind of went that way. We really haven't seen too many opportunities for these green flag pit stops. There's been a lot of pit stops under yellow, but we do see Chris Muse. Muse is going to give up the race lead. He comes down pit side, so doesn't Caleb McKinney. Dom Salvo also down pit road. Al Reed, Anthony Garland. Here comes Edward Belair. Evan Stewart. Humphrey comes down pit side. Evan Stewart, Ryan Haller, Wagner, Devin Black, Killingbeck, Sponsler, Lancaster, pretty much everybody makes their way down pit road right here, except for Tyler Humphrey, Adolfo Castillo, Aaron Barnickel, Rob Tuiscu, Casey Gross, and Wayne Garland. Even after getting tied up and bringing that yellow flag out for Wayne Garland, he's going to stay out here as well. You'll be into that 6th position, so virtually our top 6 staying out here. Everyone else comes down pit side. They get fuel, they get tires, or anything else that they feel that they need here at this point. We'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to try to go back to green flag racing, ready to try to duke it out again here this evening as cautions continue to breed cautions. Things continue to get crazier and crazier here in this feature event, but we are clicking the laps down, and we're getting closer and closer to that checkered flag as the next time by the start finish line for Tyler Humphrey. They will complete lap number 65, meaning only 35 more laps left to go here in this feature event. 35 more laps left to duke it out here in this one to try to put yourself up and into victory lane here today. It's Tyler Humphrey, Adolfo Castillo sit 1 and 2 here on the speedway. I do believe we're going to see potentially Tony Noble here get the wave around here, get the lucky dog, and get a lap back, and that may actually put Tony back onto the lead lap, so that could be a great break here for this number 32 ride to get him back into the action. So I do believe as they come down across the start finish line, he should get that wave. He should get back to the lap here this evening as he's down across the line. Not sure if he's going to get the wave or if he's just going to fall to the tail end of the field here. I don't know why he wants to stay here at the front of the pack. He's not our race leader. There we go. Finally gets it into gear, gets it rolling, and gets driving here. So you will get the wave around, and he will be back on the lead lap. Now he's just got to try to get around the racetrack before everybody else and keep himself on the lead lap here in this one. So we'll get him ready to rock and roll. We'll get him ready to keep on battling here in this one and see who can try to navigate their way into victory lane, or if we're going to see more chaos, more mayhem out here on the speedway. We did see on lap number 1, we saw contact between that 66 of Aaron Barnickel and Tyler Humphrey down into the tunnel turn here Let's see if maybe that's going to happen again. If we do see that happen again, how crazy may it get? How crazy would that be to see potential contact between these guys, and how much that would maybe change the aspect of this race if you see some of these guys starting to rub and scrub, maybe battling a little too hard, burning their equipment up, making damage, and potentially causing them to have worse runs. Could open the door for a lot of these other drivers to try to navigate their way up and into victory lane. When you look back there at Adolfo Castillo, Rob Tuiscu, the 77 KC Gross, a lot of these guys could be right there in the thick of things, right into the mix here of a race win in a quick hurry. As here we go down into corner number 3. The pace car should get ready to make the hard left-hand turn back down pit side, and as he comes down pit road, that should get us ready to rock and roll. That should get us ready to rumble here. Going back to the green flag. So down and out of corner number 3 once again, down into that Geico restart zone. Great launch, great jump right there for the 9 rider Tyler Humphrey. Is Humphrey looking to try to keep all these drivers back there behind him. Keeping them back there at bay is going to be a big goal for this number 9 right now for Tyler Humphrey, Aaron Barnacle, Adolfo Castillo, and a bunch of these other drivers. They will have to make additional green flag pit stop here a lot sooner than the drivers back behind them. When it comes to a lot of these other drivers, obviously our top 6 drivers did not come down pit road right there. Their last time down pit sign was lap number 52. We're now on to lap 66, so they've used up quite a bit of that fuel. In 10 laps or so, they may have to make a green flag pit stop, which could put them into a very difficult position in a quick hurry here this evening. But for T. Humphrey, Tyler out in front, continue to lead the way. We'll continue on with our Peacemaker Gaming, crank it up here this evening. So again, crank up that volume, cheer these guys on as we'll get a quick little break in here. I'm going to get a quick break in this, then we'll get right into the racing action for the last 25 laps or so of this race. Alrighty, yellow flag is going to come back out here. You saw it live, the 99 of Chris Muse getting tied up and tore up in it. Heavy damage for him, heavy damage for the 84 of Wayne Garland as the caution flag comes back out. A bunch of tore up race cars here. Let's take a look back, see what happens, how this one got started, as see if it starts here with the 84 Wayne Garland. As Wayne right here on the racetrack, and unfortunately for Wayne, this is kind of the second time we've seen this out of this car. Not clear of the inside lane right here. They're going to head down into corner number 1, and he shoots down the racetrack a little bit earlier than the 20 right of Ryan Haller, and he just drives down across the nose of that 20 right. Unfortunately, turns him around and nowhere to go here for Chris Muse, as Muse ends up running right into the driver's side door of that 84 right. He puts Wayne back up into the fence. Heavy damage there for the 99 right, and then we're going to watch as Chris Muse kind of bounces down the racetrack here. I do believe that was tough hit right here. I do believe for the 25, 25 machine. No, 25 just narrowly avoids. It's the 7 of Devin Black. Devin Black gets in there, gets clipped from the tail end of that 99 rider. That's going to spin Devin off the racetrack and into the fence there himself. That was a big hit for that 7 rider, as well as a few tore up race cars out there on the speedway for Devin Black, Wayne Garland, and Chris Muse. That's going to be tough to bounce back from here today for Muse. This thing's just not going to be even driving in the right direction here. This thing may be This absolutely busted up here. Looks toe leg, something's broken in it. It's not driving as straight as what it used to, so we'll have to wait and see if the crew can get that thing fixed up, pointed back in the right direction, and keep on battling here this evening as we do see Wayne Garland still down pit side. Devin Black still trying to navigate his way back down pit road here. Unfortunately, this car is just absolutely tore to shreds here, man. This thing is just absolutely tore apart. He's doing everything he can to try to limp it back down pit side and keep as many laps under his belt here, I do believe. Oh man, this is gonna be tough to watch. Oh, he's gonna wreck it again right there. Okay, some more issues there for the 7 run. He's gonna throw it into reverse. He's gonna try to get it rolling again. See if he can keep this thing just steamrolling down towards pit road. Hoping to try to salvage something out of this mayhem here for him. As man, some tough hits, some tough breaks there. As you see Tyler Humphrey, Humphrey gonna stay out here. So Tyler Humphrey stays out on the racetrack, as we did see Aaron Barnickel makes his way down pit side. So Barnickel down pit road, same with Casey Gross, Adolfo Castillo, Mike Killingbeck heads back down pit side. There's Chris Muse. He's headed down in to get some repairs. Lancaster, Gary Wright, Rom Tuwiscu, he's down pit side as they're all trying to get their cars repaired. Back into the battle, back into the action. It'll be interesting to see if Chris Muse potentially had a quick repair or if he's going to have to be down pit side for an extended period of time. And no, looks like he still have that quick repair in his back pocket. So for Chris Muse, he's able to keep on rolling here. He's able to get right back into the battle here this evening, so he'll get to continue to keep on fighting and racing and try to put himself up and into the winner's circle here today. Tyler Humphrey, though, T. Humphrey has the race lead. He'll get ready to set us back loose and go back to green flag racing out there on the speedways. We'll get them locked and loaded and ready to roll here in just a couple more moments.
Check 1, 2, radio check. Over still. On the bound through the corner, lane up through the trial zone. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait until after the fourth pit.
back to green flag racing here in this one. Is out in front, and it is Tyler Humphrey. Humphrey continues to lead the way out there on the speedway, trying to keep all these drivers back there behind him as the laps continue to click down. We get closer and closer to about 25 laps left to go here in this feature event. So the laps are clicking down in a quick hurry, in making all these drivers having to start to wonder about when is the opportunity, when is the time to try to head down pit road and potentially make their final pit stop of the day, as those could be right around the horizon if there's more caution flags, more opportunities for drivers to come down pit road during the yellow. They're going to take advantage of that, but if we do see this thing stay clean and green, then it could definitely become very interesting. Could end up being a pretty wild finish with green flag pit stops on the horizon, something drivers haven't had to really worry about here throughout this race. They really haven't had to worry about these green flag pit stops, so it could really put a twist into this feature event and really make things that much more complicated for all the front runners out there on the speedway. As right now, it is the 9 rider Tyler Humphrey. Humphrey continues to lead this race. Tyler Humphrey out in front, has the top spot here, but Cameron Combs right there in tow. You see Caleb McKinney back there in position number 3 on the speedway as he rolls there in third. It's Evan Stewart in position number 4. Al Reed right there in that 5th spot on the speedway. So great run rolling here for Al Reed and Evan Stewart, trying to get a good run and a good finish here in this one. For Ryan Haller, he's up inside the top 10. We're sitting there in that 6th position. Great run so far for the 20 ride, as well as he's looking to move out of the way and avoid that 3 machine as Al Reed running into issues, and now we see an issue for the 37 of Evan Stewart. Oh no, what has happened here to the 37 ride? Stewart slowed down the back straightaway here into the tunnel turn. He's down on the apron. He's still rolling, but unfortunately for that 13 ride, looks like he has either ran out of fuel or something has happened here to Evan Stewart's ride. Unfortunately for the HB Racing number 13 ride, looks like he is going to hit the access road here into corner number 3, and it looks like he's taking this thing down pit side, man. This is a heartbreaker there for that 13 machine out there on the speedway. Now here he comes down pit side, man. Heartbreaker there. Evan Stewart is out in front. No caution flag. Great to see that we didn't have to get a yellow flag there. And for the 13 right, able to keep it rolling, keep it pointed the right direction. We keep on battling here in this one as Tyler Humphrey, Caleb McKinney, first and second out there on the speedways. You do see McKinney and Combs. They've been battling pretty hard tonight amongst each other here for that second position. A few times they've been really slicing and dicing it up. They've been really battling hard here in this one. As Tyler Humphrey in position number 1. He loves to see it. He wants to continue to see those guys duking it out. Back there behind him is down across the line. He'll click off another lap, and it's 24 more laps left to go here in this one. 24 more laps left to duke it out here from beautiful Pocono Raceway this evening. And it's T. Humphrey, the must-love Poodles ride, who continues to have that race lead, continues to hold on to the top spot here in this one. As we do see Dom Salvo with a good run. He's up into the 4th position. Al Reed there in 5th. Grant Humphrey making his way back up. And look out back behind him. Adolfo Castillo is around. The caution flag is back out. Castillo goes around. It looked like Anthony Garland gets a big piece of him, as the caution flag will be displayed again here this evening. So let's take a look here. So the 6th rider, Tuisku, trying to keep him back there at bay. Runs up a little higher for the 31. He pushed up the racetrack. As he does push up the speedway, ends up bouncing into that left rear quarter panel of the 6th ride. Gets loose again, comes back up into the outside fence, and unfortunately right into the lap there of Anthony Garland. Nowhere to go for that Poor Boy Motorsports ride, as Garland just right here behind him. He gets a great view of it, gets to watch this kind of all unfold, and unfortunately just does not work out into his favor as he ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time, and all of a sudden he ends up with some pretty major damage right there. There you go, sees it, there's the contact at first, and then here comes the 31 right back into his lap, and pretty sizable front end damage there for that 81 machine, as he'll have to try to lift that car down pit road. You can see the steering wheel obviously not very straight in this thing anymore, so definitely some damage under the hood here. Some of the parts definitely going astray, and he'll have to really put in the work here, get the crew to go to work and get that thing repaired and back out there onto the racetrack as we get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to battle. Now this brings into the big question mark right here. Are drivers good to go on fuel? If they come down pit road right now, if they make this green or caution flag pit stop with probably about 22 laps left to go in this race, they may be good here. Finish this one off. This may finish this race. This may be the last pit stop of the day for pretty much all these drivers, and it could eliminate some big question marks on having to make green flag pit stops here this evening, as all these yellow flags have made it a pretty easy day when it comes to really the pit strategy, other than when you want to come down pit side, and if you got an extra set of tires back there behind pit wall, do you use them now? Do you wait a little bit while longer? What is the call to put yourself into that winning situation? And it looks like everyone, for the most part, is going to make that hard left-hand turn. Not a lot of cars staying out on the racetrack. It does look like Aaron Barnicle going to be one of the ones that stays out here. So Barnicle stays out. We see Rob Tuwiscu and Lancaster all stay out. We did see Casey Gross as well. Looks like he's going to stay out. He'll line up in fourth. Tony Noble will now become our fifth place driver, with Adolfo Castillo back there in position number 6. I do believe that is that Devin Black? Yeah, Devin Black going to get the wave around here. That should put Devin back on the lead lap, so great break there for the 7 ride as he'll get back into the battle, back into the fun here this evening, as Evan Stewart has taken his car down and out of this race. So is it Wayne Garland. James Garland still rolling out there. Unfortunately, he is still a couple laps down for the 37 ride. Johnny Thunder still out there as well. Unfortunately, he's still about 6 laps down after his issues, but we did see, unfortunately, Corey Crowell, Nicholas Barton, Evan Stewart, and Wayne Garland all load up their rides here today. So we start with 27 drivers. We're down to about 23 still rolling out there on the racetrack. Only about 21 left on the lead lap here this evening, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing, as pit strategy going to be a little bit more crazy for some of these drivers. Fuel is definitely going to be tight here to try to make it a 30-lap run for Barnicle, Tuwiscu, Lancaster, Casey Gross, Tony Noble, who pitted back on lap 62. Definitely going to have to come back down pit road for the 32 ride for Adolfo Castillo. It'll be interesting to see where iRacing puts him after being part of that caution flag. If they keep him there or if they put him back deeper in the field, we'll have to wait and see. But we do know for Aaron Barnicle, it's going to be tight on fuel for a lot of these other drivers who have just came down pit road back on lap number 78. How close will they be on fuel? As now we do see a few more drivers looking like they're going to head down pit side, as here comes, looks like Luke Wagner's going to pull the cover over some drivers' eyes. We do see Castillo coming down pit road. We also see Chris Muse down pit side, Ryan Haller down pit road, Dom Salvo, Anthony Garland, James Garland coming back down pit side as well. So a few of our tankers here on the lead lap making this additional pit stop, making sure that their cars are absolutely filled with fuel here on lap number 79, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll get ready to duke it out here again in this one. So could be a 20-lap shootout here, a 20-lap feature event to the checkered flag. Now with this caution flag, it's kind of got things a little bit more, just sorted out, things a little bit more kind of figured out here, and that's going to make for some interesting choices here throughout this final run on whether or not you have to make a green flag pit stop. Still, if you have enough fuel to make it to the end and don't have to make another pit stop, if we go to NASCAR overtime, what does that look like for a lot of these drivers? Will they be close enough that they can run an attempt at NASCAR overtime or two, or will they have to be forced to come down pit road and put in potentially another pit stop here if we do hit our NASCAR overtime. So let's see how this one plays out, how this one gets finished here this evening, as each and every one of these drivers waiting for that green flag to fly, waiting to get back under control, back into the battle here in this one. As in front, Aaron Barnickel will see the green flag fly as down across the line. It will be 20 laps left to go. 20 laps left to duke it out here in this one. Who's it going to be, ladies and gentlemen? Who's the driver you're cheering for? Who do you want to see up and in victory lane? Who gets it done here in this one as we get ready to set them back loose? We get ready to go back to battle as there we go. Green flag back into the air here for the 66 of Aaron Barnickel. As Barnickel gets the green flag, gets a great launch right there. Quickly jumps up, clears that 602 Wisku. He's got Cameron Combs trying to hunt him down. Here comes Casey Gross and all these other drivers. And there is another caution flag. And it's Tyler Humphrey tied up in this one. Our pole sitter Humphrey around, heavy contact there for the number 9 Ryan. We see the 25 tied up in it. We saw Johnny Thunders in there as well as a few of these other cats all tore up here in this one. Let's take a look back at it and see what happens, where this kind of goes wrong as we see contact here between Bel Air and Wagner. Bel Air looks to shoot down the racetrack right here into corner number 1. Virtually the same as what we saw with Wayne Garland. And I do believe it was, it may have been that 8 ride again, but here we go. 25 just shoots down, trying to get to the inside of the racetrack, and 8 ride's already there. They make contact, and unfortunately, as they're running into each other, all these other drivers just kind of end up with nowhere else to go. 25's pointing the wrong direction. 8 ride gets into him, and then you see Tyler Humphrey down low trying to avoid it after getting clipped, though, from the 8 ride. He shoots up the racetrack, ends up making hard contact into the outside fence as the 60 ride of Thunders ends up hard into the 25 ride. You see the 7 machines in there. A lot of these other drivers just trying to avoid it, trying to keep themselves out of the carnage here. Devin Black ends up getting some contact into it. He goes for a slide down into the infield as well. Unfortunately here, a bunch of tore up race cars here late in this race, but for a lot of these drivers, it's another restart. It's another opportunity to try to work yourself up and into victory lane or a little closer here to the win today. So we'll have to wait and see how this one gets played out and who will put themselves into the winning situation out there on the speedway. As it's going to come right down to the very end, right down to the nitty-gritty here today. As for the number 66 of Aaron Barnickel, looks like he's going to come down pit road. A bunch of these other drivers also going to come down pit side here. So a lot of these cats making their way down pit road. Obviously, they want to try to put themselves into a spot that they do not have to come back down pit lane. They do not have to make another pit stop out there on the speedway. And that will forfeit the race lead over to Cameron Combs. So Cameron Combs now our race leader. And that's going to make things very, very fun here for late in this race as, oh man, of course, Byron goes around. Alrighty, so here we go. We'll get them all stacked up. Combs out in front now, killing back there in second. Then we see Grant Humphrey in position number 3. Luke Wagner back there in 4th. Kurt Sponsler there in 5th with Chris Muse there in 6th. Dom Salvo now in 7th. Anthony Garland sits in 8th with Rob Tuwisku and Caleb McKinney rounding out our top 10. Aaron Barnickel in position number 11 with Chad Lancaster there in 12th. Al Reed in position number 13. Casey Gross in 14th. Gary Wright, Ryan Haller, Tyler Humphrey, Tony Noble, our top 18 as Devin Black rolls there in 19th. We do see Edward Bel Air and Adolfo Castillo. Did have black flags here. Castillo still has one, so we'll have to wait and see how that gets played out there for him, and if Castillo stays in that spot or if he ends up getting some extra waves or anything else here, if that penalty is going to hold up for him. We'll have to wait and see as, man, some tough breaks there for Billy B late in this race. Couple times now, last 2 races just getting absolutely wrecked on the after having such great runs and great performances here in this one. As out in front, though, it is Cameron Combs who will get ready for the restart. We'll get ready to send him back loose and back to green flag racing, as Must Love Poodle says Tyler did a good job trying to avoid it. Dang, yeah. Unfortunately, that is just racing. A lot of times you just kind of get hung up in the wrong place at the wrong time, and, man, that definitely just sucks for Tyler Humphrey, man. Good car, good race, good battle. We'll see if he can try to get back into it. He's still on the lead lap, still in this race. He rolls right now in about the 16th position, but obviously going to have to make up a lot of track position late in this race to try to rebound and get himself back into this battle, as we'll see what he can do and see if he can work his way back up here towards the front as Cameron Combs and the rest of the field will get ready to see the green flag fly here once again this evening, as each and every driver ready to duke it out here in this one.
Radio check. Still. From the back to the corner, lane up through the triangle. Not sure why they did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody to get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait until after the fourth pit. Get out of the gas, slow down. Somebody split up right in front of me.
Alrighty, here we go, getting ready to see that green flag fly here once again. As down and across the line for Cameron Combs, it will be 16 laps left to go here in this one. So 16 laps left here to duke it out, to try to find your final drive, try to find that extra gear and try to disappear here in this one, as Cameron Combs with a great restart will lead us down through corner number 1 as you see a battle here for position number 2. Mike Killingbeck trying to hang on to it as Grant Humphrey looking to try to race his way up there as there's contact back behind him, and the caution flag will come back out. Caution flag back out into the air. Yellow flag here once again this evening, as this time looks like Casey Gross going to get tied up in it. We saw a few other drivers in here as well. Let's take a look and see. There's contact right here in front of them. Looks like the 19 ride there, Don Salvo. So it looks like the 49 ride here, Kurt Sponsler, is kind of where things get started here. So Sponsler pushes up the track here. He's tight to the 81, having the roll out of the throttle. The 19 ride, Dom Salvo, doesn't get checked up, tries to shoot down underneath the 49 ride. Unfortunately gets right into that left rear quarter panel of the 49. Now Sponsler's trying to check up, trying to hang on to it, and see Tuisco in there. He ends up running to the back end of the 77, then into the back end of the 49. And then you see the 77 down through the dirty stuff on the bottom of the racetrack. He's finally going to go sideways. The 6 continues to push the 49 ride, which spins Kurt Sponsler around, and the Elite Sim racing machine ends up nosed into the outside fence. And then here comes Tony Noble right here. Tony Noble's going to drive in there and absolutely clean him out as the Red Bull Ryan slams into the side of the 49 ride. You do see James Garland just squeezing by there, just able to avoid it, but a couple big hits and a couple more spun around race cars and another caution flag, another restart, and another opportunity for drivers to try to get back into the action. And for James Garland, this may have been a great break here for James, as I do believe he should be in line to get the lucky dog, and that could get him back on the lead lap here in this one. We'll have to wait and see. As for Cameron Combs, track position here late in the race seems like it is going to pay dividends here this evening. Trying to keep yourself out in front, trying to keep yourself out of the carnage, as we still got a lot of laps left to go here for what is going to be our probably longest race of the year. I kind of knew that when we got into it. I saw 100 laps here. 100 laps at Pocono tends to be a very, 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 very long time. So unfortunately, with a lot of yellow flags, it does not help that out, and that just adds a lot of time into it, man. Normally when we come to Pocono, it tends to run a lot like this. It tends to run a lot like a bit of a caution fest, which is tough. It makes things tough. It is not only tough on myself, but it's tough on the fans of the stands. It's tough on the drivers out there that are going to just keep hitting restarts and everything and trying to play their strategy out, and a lot of times your strategy kind of just gets gets blown up because you don't get to see it kind of finish off. You have to just kind of stick with it and keep taking the licks when they come and hope that by the end of this race that you have enough fuel, you got decent tires and some decent track position that you may have an opportunity at trying to win this race. And for right now, for Cameron Combs, that's right where he is. He's in that good spot. He's in that good position to try and win this one, especially if they continue to rack down into quarter number 1 on these restarts. Really means that all he has to do is just have a good restart, get a good launch, able to clear a couple of car lengths down to quarter number 1, and as long as he can hold it down through 1 and maybe quarter number 2, then we've seen these yellow flags come out. He gets to roll back out of it and just try to keep on rolling here again late in the race, and obviously just gets to click off a few more laps here under the yellow flag conditions. We will get them stacked up, we will get them racked up, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. As out in front, man, these guys have just been putting together an absolutely amazing race. Some great battles out there on the racetrack, and we'll get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to go here for another restart this evening. Another restart, another opportunity to try to shine out there on the racetrack. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys have been cheering on your favorite driver. Make sure you guys cheer him on right now, man. Jump into the comments section. Let us know who you want to see up into victory lane here this evening for the RT3 Designs LLC 400 here from Pocono Raceway. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. I do believe we should see the lights right there turn back off. So the lights are off the official iRacing pace car, and that means that it's one to go here. Next time by, we will see that green flag fly once again. We will go back to battle. We will try it all over again here, but now much shorter run to the finish line for these drivers, as it is now going to be about a 12-lap shootout here to the end, biting some more caution flags, and that could open up the door for some other drivers to try to navigate their way up towards the front. When you look at Caleb McKinney, he's rolling back there in about the 7th position or so. We'll see if he can try to jump back into the hunt at the front. You look back at Aaron Barnick, who led some laps today. He rolls back there in about the 11th position. Look at Al Reed, Tyler Humphrey back there in about 13th, 15th spot on the speedway. So a lot of these drivers, even though they may look like they're out of it, they're deeper in the field, but man, they are still right there in it. And if they can find some good run, some good speed here in the closing laps, they could still come home with a pretty solid run, pretty solid finish, especially on these restarts. If they can gain a few spots, maybe have some of the guys in front of them continue to keep on wrecking, could open up the door for them to gain a big chunk of change and pass 3, 4, 5 cars in one restart, in which case they may only give up a couple laps, and that gets them right back in to the action, right back into the battle here for the race win this evening. So we'll have to wait and see how this one gets played out, because for the 15 rider, Cameron Combs, I'm sure he wouldn't mind seeing more and more yellow flags and just clicking these laps off and getting them to that maybe NASCAR overtime, have one attempt at it and hit it clean for 2 laps and win this race. I don't know if he's going to have the car to hold them off here for 12 laps, or if he's going to feel confident that 12 laps is going to be what he needs, but he does get great launches here. It's another good jump, another good restart for the 15 ride. He's hoping to lead us all down into quarter number 1 as everyone else starts to spread out back there behind him, and that's where we start to see some of the chaos unfold here deeper in the field as the 15 ride out in front. Grant Humphrey right there in second. You see Killingbeck push up the racetrack. He gets into the outside fence, and you see Ryan Haller up there as well. Is everyone this time able to make it through corner number 1? No! Looks like the caution flag will come back out. The caution flag will fly here once again, as this time looks like James Garland, the guy who just got the wave around, back on the lead lap. It looks like James going to lose the rear end here. I'm not sure if he gets some help, as he's rolling around the outside of the 32 with Tony Noble. It looks like Noble just gets tight, washes up the racetrack into the 37 ride, and now he's trying to save it, trying to hang on to it. Finally, the car snap hooks around, ends up bouncing off the inside fence, as the 37 comes to a stop on the speedway. iRacing will throw that caution flag, and the yellow flag will come back out here once again in this one. And now some late race damage there for the 37 ride for Cameron Combs. Another restart on the horizon, another opportunity to hit these restarts, keep clicking off these laps and draw him closer and closer. What could be potentially a big win on the day for the Mobile 115 ride. Grant Humphrey there in second. Chris Muse back in third as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to battle here, ready to duke it out in this one as Levi, what's good, Levi? Levi Stewart coming in, show the love as Evan Stewart says, doesn't look like my other message sent got damage from someone hitting my rear and I didn't know, so it used my fast repair. Oh no, Evan, brother, that's tough. That's tough, man, and not having that quick repair out there for major issues or for bigger problems is tough, man. It's tough to keep your car alive, and for a lot of these guys, man, for this race so far, it's been a bit of a wild one. I'm not gonna lie, we tend to not see this many caution flags at such a big racetrack, but I think that's just Pocono, man. Pocono seems to produce quite a few yellow flags here in iRacing. I'm not sure what it is, but for some reason it definitely seems to use and abuse these race cars. Zevin says that the one time I make an actual mistake, I don't have the fast repair and never knew it was used. Laugh out loud. Oh well. Do this league mainly for fun. Hey, that's what it's all about, brother. That's what it's all about, man. Having fun, having a good time, enjoying your Sunday afternoon here on the racetrack, enjoying some fun here on the same as down across the line. They will click off lap number 90. It is 10 laps left to go here for these drivers. So our final 10% of this race, biting some NASCAR overtime here this evening, is upon us. As the lights are still on the official iRacing pace car, should still get another couple laps around here before we go back to green flag racing. As yeah, this has been a bit of a wild one here this evening, man. This has been a bit of a crazy one. What are we on now? Our 14th caution flag. My gosh. 14 yellows so far here this evening, and we're not done yet. We still got time to go. And time to, you know, maybe cause more issues, more carnage out there on the racetrack. We'll have to wait and see. As Evan says, I definitely had something for the leaders, just lost focus. Hey, and that's the big thing, man. We talked about that through a bunch of this race. Is the focus. All these yellow flags, they're super, super long. They're about 2 minutes for a caution lap, and you get so many yellow flags and so many laps under yellow here at Pocono that it just adds so much time to the race. And with all this time continuing to be an add up, and it just gets tedious and it gets tiring for the drivers, and that's where a lot of guys will lose focus, and that leads to more issues, more problems, more chaos out there on the racetrack, where that just continues to keep on building up more and more and more and creating more and more chaos, you know, race after race after race. As we'll get ready to keep on duking out, we'll keep on battling here in this one, and we'll see who's going to end up putting themselves into victory lane here this evening, as each driver ready to go to battle, ready to keep on duking it out here in this one, as the lights will get turned off the official iRacing pace car, this time by the start-finish line. So next time by, we will go back to green flag racing. Should be an 8-lap shootout. So don't go anywhere, because we're not done having fun here this evening, as we'll get ready for our final 8 laps of racing action in just a few more moments.
Radio check. Still. From the bottom to the corner, lane up through the triangle. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody to get to the bottom. I think we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit.
number 15 at Cameron Combs. Combs to the line. It's Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland is Garland leading the way. Show these drivers. Alrighty, here we go. Back to green flag racing. Green flag back into the air. A great restart there for that number 15 of Cameron Combs as he's looking to keep all these drivers back there at bay. Tight racing, door to door back there behind him is Chris Muse looking to try to work his way up and into position number 2. But there's contact. Look out deeper in the pack. They're wrecking again down the back straightaway. Look out, big hits here. Tyler Humphrey collected. The 6 of Tuiscu, the 25 of Bel Air, and Ryan Haller in the 20 ride. All getting tied up here in this one. Some big hits to finish off this race here this evening as a lot of drivers just getting tore up here, and it kind of starts down low but also kind of up high here as things just closed up in a quick hurry. Everyone just pushing for everything they got left. You see Haller already up the track here. 81 though pushes up the speedway. Haller's to his outside. Anthony continues to push up the track, and they're gonna end up winding into each other right there. Now you're gonna see the 76. He gets into it. He clips the 19 ride. He washes back up the racetrack into the 66 of Aaron Barnickel, and then you see unfortunately 81, the 20 still tied together. Now the 19 is going to clip out Reed. He's still trying to get this thing pointed back in the right direction. There goes the 20 right around. Here comes the 9 and the 25. They're going to make contact as the 25 Ryan shoots up the racetrack right here. I'm not sure if he gets contact, if he gets clipped right here or not, but for the 25 right at Edward Belair, he's trying to avoid it, trying to keep himself out of it, and all of a sudden he finds himself right in the middle of it as he does avoid a couple of these other cars, and it looks like he just loses the rear end and shoots back up the track. That's where the 9 ride of Humphrey ends up getting a piece of him. Hard contact again into the 20 right. You see Adolfo Castillo gets tied up in it. Heavy hit there for Rob Tuiscu, and man, a lot of tore up race cars here. Down and out at corner number 1 once again. So more carnage, more mayhem, and another caution flag here at Pocono Raceway late in this one. And I do believe we're going to see Ryan Haller. Looks like he's taking his car off of the racing surface and potentially out of this race. Belair still rolling. Now Reed, Humphrey, they're still battling here. So we'll see where they kind of get lined up here in this one as it says, what a waste of 2 hours. Yeah, that's a bit of a rough one right there. Evan says it's the weight transitioning in the car. All right. So the weight transfer kind of going from, going from the banking into the flat top kind of just moves you around. Once you move left, you can move right until the car is completely settled. Can't move right until the car is completely settled. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you're in the middle of a corner, and you just gotta hang on to it again, so roll out of it and hope not to get ran over, and other cars just not letting out of it. Unfortunately, that's all they could do. Is Hanscap says, I was against the wall. I couldn't go any higher. Got pushed up into the wall. Yeah, unfortunately right there, man. That's exactly what happened. Really nothing you could do there. You were up there. You were on the fence. You were trying to keep yourself out of the carnage, out of the mayhem, and unfortunately, the mayhem kind of just came up and found you as they were just rolling right up into you here, and then obviously everyone else kind of running into it as well, and just compounding all the issues here. Everyone's bouncing off each other, everyone bouncing into it and going around, and then more cars getting collected, and man, just chaos here at Pocono, that is for certain. There's a lot of cars that are absolutely tore up here this evening. A lot of cars that unfortunately not having the runs that they were hoping for here today. Other cars trying to at least kind of salvage something out of this race. We do see the 8 ride of Luke Wagner. He's up there. He's just outside the top 5. Chad Lancaster inside the top 5 here. Great run brewing for the Landon CNSB ride as Cameron Combs continues to lead the way here. Grant Humphrey back in second with Chris Muse in third, and they'll get ready to keep on battling, keep on duking it out here in this one as we'll see who's going to be able to save and put themselves into a position to try to win this race. As I don't know if that's going to be our final caution flag. Chat, what do you guys think? Think we're going to make it a couple laps around here, or do you guys think we're going to see another yellow flag here and potentially go to NASCAR overtime? We should get the green flag back out on the racetrack, probably somewhere with about 3 laps left to go in this race. 4 to 3 laps left here in this feature event. Will we see potentially this run green to the end, or do we see more yellow flags and more chaos out there on the speedway? We'll have to wait and find out, see how this one plays out, because it's going to get wild in a quick hurry. As here we go, lights are off, the official iRacing pace car. And for Cameron Combs, another big restart, another big opportunity to try to keep these drivers back there at bay, back behind him, and hoping to try to keep himself at the point here in this one, as it can definitely go green, but we could also see it kind of go back to yellow flag. And if we do get another yellow flag, we are definitely going into NASCAR overtime here this evening. And now that brings into a whole new subject of potentially some drivers not being good on fuel here to get to the end of this race. Some drivers may be slacking in that fuel mileage here, especially after a lot of these guys. Look at Cameron Combs, Grant Humphrey, Mike Killingback, Chris Muse, Luke Wagner. They all pitted, around lap 78. So they got a little bit less fuel than some of these other drivers who were down pit road on lap 82 or better. So fuel could be an issue if we go to NASCAR overtime. Now, luckily enough, they haven't really been burning too much up under the yellow flag, but have they been able to save enough to potentially stretch this fuel run out, 3, 4, 5 laps rolling out there on the racetrack? We'll find out as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. Hopefully this time it stays green flag and we get to see this one finish under the green flag conditions. As for the 15 ride of Cameron Combs, I'm sure he would love to just get another good launch, try to keep Grant Humphrey, Killingback, Chris Muse, Wagner, and the rest of this field back there behind him, and allow him to put himself back up and into victory lane here this evening, as we'll head down and out of corner number 3, as the tricky triangle has definitely proved to be very tricky here this evening. As here we go, pace car makes that hard left-hand turn back down pit side, and here we go back to green flag racing for what could be our final restart of the evening. Only 4 laps left to go here from Pocono Raceway, as everyone's starting to shuffle around. They're trying to find a lane, they're trying to find a gear that can help them put themselves up and into the winning situation. See Killingback at a great launch there on the outside as the caution flag will come back out. We see him wrecking here. We see the 7 of Devin Black up into the outside fence. Gary Wright, he's turned around. He's into the wall right there. Tough break for Gary. Heavy hits there for the 7 ride as the caution flag will fly again here this evening. Let's take a look and see what happens, as see Devin's up on the high side here. And it looks like he just loses the rear end, sends it in there into corner number 1, and just looks like, I don't know if the damage from beforehand or just pushing it hard here. And unfortunately for the 7 ride, as he sends it into corner number 1, as the car is not set, loses the rear end. Here comes Gary Wright. Gary Wright, unfortunately, not able to get checked up quick enough. He runs in the 7 ride. The 77 of Casey Groves gets into him. They both wash up the racetrack. Hard contact into the outside fence. And you see Tuisku, you see James Garland. They all get a pretty good piece of that one. They get some more damage. And then you see the 16 of Gary Wright kind of gets pushed down the racetrack here. And then he's going to get bounced back up into the outside fence off the 37 ride. So more carnage, more mayhem down here into corner number 1. And unfortunately, with all this chaos, there's a lot of tore up race cars. And now we head to NASCAR overtime here this evening, and some big hits right there. That is some tough luck there for a bunch of these drivers, and for a lot of these guys, that may be game over for them. That may be their night over here in this one. And now it starts to bring into that question mark on fuel mileage. Who's got it? Who doesn't? Who's going to be able to save enough to try to make at least one attempt at NASCAR overtime and a green flag checkered here to finish off this race? This Cameron Combs got enough left in his car to get to the end. Same with Killingback. Grant Humphrey for Chris Muse, he came down pit road a lap later than they did. He was on pit side on lap 79. For Lancaster, he was down pit road on lap 82. So right now, out of our top 7 drivers, he's got the best chance to be able to make it here on fuel this evening, as Anthony Garland was last down pit side on lap 79. Luke Wagner was down pit road on lap 78. Aaron Barnickel and Kelly McKinney were both down pit road on lap number 82. It's all low down pit side on lap 79. So a lot of these drivers are going to be very, very tight on fuel, especially if we go into not only one NASCAR overtime, but multiple NASCAR overtimes here in this one. As Corey says, glad I parked it when I did, so I didn't have to sit and pace this entire race. Yeah, 100% right there. 100% right there, Corey. Definitely, this was, if you were going to miss a race or if you're going to bail out early on a race, this is definitely probably the one that you'd want to do it in. This is definitely the one that you probably want to skip out and not have to do so many laps under yellow flag here this evening, as we get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to try to go back to green flag racing here again in just a couple more moments. So we'll get ready to set them back loose. We'll get ready to go back to battle and back to the fun here and see if we can make a couple laps and finish this one off with our first NASCAR overtime attempt.
Engines roar louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.
Alrighty, down through quarter number 3, our first attempt at NASCAR overtime here this evening, as the 15 ride of Cameron Combs will see that green flag fly. So quickly, green flag back into the air for the 15 machine as Cameron Combs onto the loud pedal. Gets another great launch, another great restart, trying to keep that gap built up between himself, the 70, killing back the 48 ride of Grant Humphrey as they battle door to door down into corner number 1. Everyone's trying to make it through there. Everyone's trying to make it clean down here to finish off this 2-lap shootout. Look out, Aaron Barnickel gets a little bit loose. Everyone spreads out. Everyone able to keep it rolling. We keep it clean and green down into corner number 2. But now here we go. This looks to be 3 wide into the tunnel turn. Sometimes that doesn't work out. We do see some smoke. It's Chris Muse up into the outside fence. Everyone's going to try to avoid that 99 ride. We just need to make it back here to the start-finish line. And Cameron Combs is doing everything he can to get back to that start-finish line before the yellow flag potentially displays itself. Is down the front straightaway and across the line. The white flag will be displayed. So the next flag will end this race no matter what. No more yellow flags here this evening. It'll finish under the green flag here in this one, as Cameron Combs has about 9/10 of a second between himself and Mike Killingbeck. But now the big question is fuel mileage. Who has got the fuel mileage? Who can get to the end? Will somebody potentially run out of fuel? We'll have to wait and see, as they got about half a track left to go. as Cameron Combs out in front, continuing to lead the way. 9/10 of a second between himself and Mike Killingbeck. Killingbeck now has the 48 ride right there on his back bumper, and you take a look at Humphrey making the move down to the inside. Grant looking to take over second here from Killingbeck. Killingbeck going to try to hang on to it. Is out of corner 3 for the final time here this evening. It's Cameron Combs who will find victory lane here at Pocono Raceway. So Cameron Combs gets it done as we see some spinning and wrecking here down and out at corner number 4. That is the 49 ride. Going for a bit of a spill back there, but it's all Cameron Combs who picks up the checkered flag here this evening. Grant Humphrey comes home in second, and Mike Killingbeck will come home in third. Let's take a look back here and see the carnage a little deeper in the field, as unfortunately for Kurt Sponsler, he's going to get tied up in some mayhem back here. Let's take a look. Sponsler's already kind of tore up. He gives a shot to the 66, getting him loose, trying to gain that one extra spot. He's trying to get around this 66 ride, and apparently the 66 did not like that, and he's just going to spin him around. All right, so that's exactly what we like to see here. So take a look, see if this continued on back here any farther, because the 66, he was already losing a lot of pace. He had already fallen way back here. Obviously damage for both of these drivers. Down into the tunnel turn. The 49's on the outside. 66 down low. Swansler's going to fall back in line. Tries to shoot down underneath of him. Doesn't quite get the run that he was looking for, obviously, with the damage already on that race car. So now they're going to head into corner number 3. 49 sends it in there a whole lot deeper, and he's just going to give a shot here to that 66 ride of Aaron Barnickel, and unfortunately, they just kind of stay tied together, and obviously both drivers not happy with their performances or how things went today, and 66 going to turn back up the track and spin that 49 right around, and for both drivers, definitely not the runs that they were hoping for here this evening. Obviously, frustration starting to boil over, but for the number 15 of Cameron Combs, he gets to celebrate here this evening as he picks up the dub here at the Tricky Triangle, as the Elite Sim Racing ride finds victory lane, man. Great run, great drive, great performance here for him as we'll get ready to pull Combs up and into the broadcast booth here for his post-race interview as Cameron gets it done. Let's get these interviews done and over with here in a quick hurry. We want to get these guys in and out of here as fast as we can. So let's get Cameron up and into the booth right now. Hopefully we can see him jump in there. Okay, we see a bunch of guys that are in there that aren't supposed to be in there, so we'll have to wait for that. We do see Grant Humphreys already in there, so we see Grant's in there, but hopefully we can get some of these other guys in here quick. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Cameron Combs. Hey, Cameron, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Cameron, man, solid run, solid drive here this evening, man, as it kind of just comes down to being in the right place at the right time, and obviously having that track position late in this race to put yourself up here and into victory lane, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind right now as you're able to get it done here in Pocono.
Yeah, so when I pitted, I knew I wasn't going to have enough fuel unless we had at least one caution, and all them cautions there at the end ended up helping me save enough fuel, or else I probably would have went when I think it was like the 76 went in or whatever. There was a couple guys that stayed out another couple laps, but yeah, all them cautions there at the end really helped me, and it would have been nice to actually race it out, but the way it worked out good for us for fuel saving.
Yeah, absolutely allowed you to save it all the fuel that you needed, including even more here for the NASCAR overtime. Luckily enough, it was only the one attempt at NASCAR overtime. If we would have saw potentially another attempt at, if we would have saw another yellow flag there, you know, how were you looking there fuel-wise if we would have went into that second or potentially third NASCAR overtime?
I definitely had enough. I was clutching every time the flag would come back out. I'd start clutching, and I think I had 4 laps extra fuel even after the first overtime, so I would have had enough to do at least one more.
Beauty. Well, hey, you know what? All those yellows, they play perfectly into your hand. Obviously able to use that, you know, top spot. Great restarts, great jumps. All the carnage unfolding back there behind you, keeping the car clean, and you're able to just drive this thing up here into victory lane as bit of a crazy one, a bit of a wild one here. Obviously, a lot of caution flags here at this big old tricky triangle, and unfortunately, makes for a very, very tough race for you guys. Not only fuel strategy-wise, but mentally out there on the racetrack, you guys really gotta, somehow keep yourself focused, keep yourself kind of in the race, and not get sidetracked, knowing that you're doing a lot of yellow flag laps around the speedway. How do you keep yourself in that mind frame to keep yourself in the battle, in the hunt here all evening long, and not have that misjudgment of one of these restarts or a mistake through one of these corners that could cost you a good run?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. The team does a really good job in keeping us focused, and like coming out of the corners, we try to get squared up and lined up so we know so we're prepared for the restart. And yeah, it was definitely hard that last run going into 2, because I never made it to 2 before the yellow came out, so I kind of forgot how to take the corner, but figured it out and got the win.
Absolutely. You pull that 15 right up here into victory lane here this evening. Cameron, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
First off, I got to thank RT3 Designs for sponsoring the race. Rob's my teammate. Thank all the guys at ESR. Thank all the admins, league admins that make this league fun. Got to thank you for the broadcast. Just everybody that makes this thing go round and round every week.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Cameron, heck of a run, heck of a drive. Hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next Sunday. Maybe not as crazy as what tonight's was. Maybe a lot more green flag laps, a lot more fun for you guys to be able to have out there on the speedway next Sunday afternoon. But, man, what a run, what a drive for you here in this one, man. Congrats on being able to survive and capture tonight's victory lane here at Pocono.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Cameron Combs as Combs picks up the checker flag here in this one. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that 15 ride as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, Grant Humphrey. Hey, Grant, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Grant, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive for you here in this one. Obviously, some good stages there. You and Tyler able to hit them kind of perfectly there as he was able to win stage number 1. You win stage number 2, but you earn a lot of good stage points, and you come home with a pretty solid finish here in that second spot this evening in what was a, chaos-filled race. A lot of yellows, a lot of carnage out there, and for the most part, you're able to keep yourself out of it and just keep on battling here and giving yourself an opportunity here to get a good point stake here at the Speedway.
Yeah, it was a tough race. It was really big on keeping your track position. There wasn't really enough green flag runs to pass anyone or long green flag runs.
Yeah, absolutely. So no really good long green flag runs or green flag pit stops even to kind of make some of that strategy work out, as all the yellows kind of took the strategy right out of the game. It came down to more or less just who's got the good track position and the fuel left in the tank here for NASCAR overtime to figure out who could battle for the win here today. I know for the 15 ride of Cameron Combs, he was able to save enough. He still had about 4 laps or so of fuel left, so he was good for at least another NASCAR overtime here this evening. How was the fuel looking there for the 48 ride?
I think I had about 8 laps left, but I had some toe damage that was kind of affecting me a little at the end of the race. It was about 3 minutes of damage.
And that 3 minutes of damage could have been the difference maker between battling with Killingback for second or battling with Cameron Combs here for the race win tonight. But you come home in second, still a very solid run and great performance for you, Grant. Who would you like to thank here this evening for such a great run out there on the Speedway?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the Garlands and then Must Love Poodles for being the sponsor, and then my brother for helping me race.
Absolutely. Well, Grant, another great run, another great race here for the 48 ride, man. We can't wait to see you back on the racetrack next Sunday. Hopefully, a lot more green flag laps for you guys to duke it out there next week, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for Kentucky, so we'll see you next weekend.
Beauty, sounds good. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Grant Humphrey, as Humphrey comes home in position number 2. As we get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, it's the 70 ride of Mike Killingback. Killingback comes home here in P3. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Mike, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, how you doing, man?
Not too bad, Mike, man. A crazy, crazy night of racing action here this evening from Pocono Raceway, but you're able to survive it for the most part, and you'll work this 70 ride from being a lap down at one point in time up here into a solid podium finish here this evening, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind.
Yeah, I was just basically trying to stay alive and stay out of trouble, and it was just basically a race of attrition. Everybody else was crashing out, and I was just trying to stay clean. I actually had an extra set of tires I was hoping to use, but by the time I wanted to use them, it was too late in the race. I didn't want to go down to, middle of the pack. So I just kind of held on, and man, I thought I had second, but my teammate Grant took that, so that's cool. Good for him, and good for Cam. It was a fun race.
Yeah, definitely some fun racing, definitely some wild racing back there deeper in the field. A lot of chaos, a lot of cautions, man. How do you stay focused, and how do you stay, in line to just go after it and battle for a race winner, battle for a top 3 performance here after, so many yellow flags and so many caution laps out there on the speedway?
Just trying to stay clean, basically, focusing up. When I went down a lap, that was tough. It was tough to come back after that, but I was lucky enough to get the lucky dog, and just keep going, and hanging in there, trying to stay out of trouble. So I got lucky, but you know what? I'll take it. Right? It was fun, and I had a good time. So I'll take a third. I need it.
Hey, man, that's what it's all about right there. Having fun, enjoying your day on the sim, man, as you come home with a very solid third-place run here in this one. Mike, who would you like to thank for another great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Just my teammates for the practice and stuff. It's fun. The league, Anthony and the guys. It's a great league. It really is. I've been in a few, and this is really a good league. So, and thank you to you, Aaron. You put on a great broadcast. I can't wait to watch it. So, have a great one, and go Lions. Go Detroit Lions tomorrow night. Heck yeah.
Absolutely, brother. I need a big night from Jared Goff in my fantasy pool. So, hopefully,
it's
does
funny.
really
I got him too. I got him too.
Perfect.
So I got him and St. Brown. So I'm looking for
St. Brown.
the
I think I
combination.
have Williams, so I need Williams to do good too.
There you go. All right, brother. Hey, thanks, man.
Absolutely, mister. Enjoy the rest of your night, and congrats again on the third-place run.
All right, thank you. We'll see you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Mike Killingback, as Killingback comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Solid run, solid drive there for the 70 ride here tonight. Unfortunately, though, that is going to do it for us here in this one. The craziness, the chaos, the ups and downs, everything else here this evening are coming to, they came to a close here, but we do have one more race here later this evening, and probably just a little over an hour from now. We will be back live again. We will be back to duking it out here on Peacemaker Gaming, as we'll have the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League season finale here this afternoon, right around 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We will be back into the action, back to duking it out, and back to more fun here on Peacemaker Gaming. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit the like button on this stream. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and we'll get you guys back here in just a little bit. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Radio check. Still. Run the box through the corner. Lane up through the trial. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit.
Here comes that number 15 at Cameron Combs. Combs Raceway. It's Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland and Garland leading the way. Show these drivers how to get it done.